Hey there, Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Okay, so my name is Hannah. If you're new here, my name is Hannah. I am a Western Practical Astrologer. And if you are a returning viewer here, a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for being here. And so, yeah, as I say, I'm a Western Practical Astrologer and I make videos all about astrology. And I cannot wait to share this information about this lunar eclipse happening in the sign of Taurus on the 28th of October. So we just experienced the solar eclipse in Libra. Just want to ask, how are you feeling? Maybe I can just wait a moment for more people to join just to check in with you. How are you feeling? Hi, Alexander. A lot of eyes there. How are you doing today? Kirsten, hello. It says hand pink waving. Hi. And Francisco, you say that your birthday is on the 28th of October. Oh my gosh, lunar eclipse happening on your birthday. And then your solar return will reflect that. How exciting for you. But yeah, that's really interesting. Alexander, you said that you're quite okay. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. I hope the solar eclipse in Libra served you well, because I know with you having a Libra rising, perhaps that was quite an experience for you. And how am I doing? When I reflect on this, I do feel a bit tired today. I went to the gym today. I prepared for this session, and I feel quite tired, but I'm still feeling good. Like I feel happy. I feel quite content, and I actually feel quite grounded in my body right now. Though, if you don't mind, I will be having this cup of coffee before we get into it. I was like, just have coffee. Just take your time with this, right? That's so Taurus. Isn't that so Taurus? It wasn't what I consciously thought, but I thought, have coffee. And this is the mug, by the way. Pumpkins. It says hello pumpkin in the rim. Don't know if you can see that. But I'm going to have this and maybe just chat with you, and then we'll get into it. Pharrell Ryder, hello, welcome. You said that you have been so nervous. You have been so nervous about the Libra eclipse as it's on your part of fortune. Ooh, on your part of fortune. Hey, that's actually, to me, when I hear that, I'm like, that's quite exciting. So, really exciting. And then you said that you had the April eclipse 6 months ago, the day after your birthday. Oh my gosh. So is your sun in Taurus? Are you like a 1 degree Taurus sun individual? You'll take exciting. But you said you feel like something big is coming. Oh, yeah. So where do you have Libra and Aries in your chart? I wonder. 0 degree Taurus. Wow. Okay. Interesting. So you had those eclipses then in Taurus for the past few years. Yeah. Obviously, I don't know your whole chart, but it does sound like big changes for you. And it's interesting that you say there, Pharrell Ryder, about it's almost like you can feel something. And the interesting thing, even with this, and I will, just to answer your question there, Alexander, of course, I try my very best to remember placements that people tell me. I try my best. And yeah, like I was saying there, it was so strange. A couple of days before the solar eclipse occurred, I had this, like, it's almost as if someone was doing something in my ears. That sounds really, like, really bad the way I'm wording it. I can't quite describe. I think that's why. But it wasn't like, you know how you get like a ringing in your ears? Because I remember my saying to my partner about it, and he said, Was it ringing in your ears? And I thought, no, 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 it's not ringing in my ears. It just felt like this wave, this huge wave. And it was so odd, it was so different to what I'd ever experienced before. And then it made me think about, the energetic shifts to do with the eclipses, because we're in this portal right now, right? With the eclipses from solar eclipse in Libra to the lunar eclipse in Taurus. So as it goes from new to full, we're in this portal. And that to me is like this shift in consciousness portal. I even remember yesterday, yeah, the morning of the solar eclipse. You know what? It could have been the day before, but I was being so forgetful. I was writing the forecast for the day. I do daily forecasts over on my Patreon. I was writing the daily forecast for the day, and I was like, I can't remember what I was trying to say. And I had to keep like really thinking long and hard about what was I trying to get across there. It was so strange. But I don't know. Maybe that's something to do with that eclipse energy, with these shifts. And that even reminds me of today. So one of my lovely members over at the Patreon, one of my patrons over there, said that she really loves like reading the daily forecasts each morning as she drinks her coffee. And I just thought, I love that. I love that because that's something that I would do as a daily ritual. Just I just love that thought of like chilling, drinking coffee in the morning before starting work or before doing something, just taking a minute and just reading through a little piece. And I just thought, you know what, that's so perfect. And it was like a green light to say you're on the right track here. Keep doing them. So just want to say thank you so much, Brittany, if you're watching. Sweeta, hi, welcome. You said that I am your first teacher on YouTube when you first started your journey in astrology 5 years ago. Oh my goodness. 5 years ago. Has it been that long? Have I been on YouTube for that long? And then even for you, like you've been studying astrology for that long. That is amazing. Really amazing. And the amount of, progress you make in that amount of time, I'm sure is incredible. So yeah, that's awesome to hear, and thanks for letting me know that as well. When I think back to 5 years ago on YouTube, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I cringe. Oh, I I cringe." But you know what? That's the whole point of learning, isn't it? That is. Pharrell Writer, you say you have Libra in the 5th, and then you have Aries 10th/11th. Okay, so I'm assuming you're meaning like according to Placidus then for the system. But yeah, the 5th house and then the 10th and the 11th house for you. So those shifts are going to show up then within your public image. Okay, think about your professional life here, your creativity. Oh, so your part of fortune's in the 5th house, right? Am I right in that? Saying that? Oh, awesome. When it comes to the lots though, definitely look into zodiacal releasing. Look into zodiacal releasing for like really good timing techniques. I don't know if you've looked into it. There is a video actually I have available about zodiacal releasing, so make sure to watch it so you can maybe understand the lots a bit better. Francisco, you did a little wand wave. Abracadabra. Harry Potter. It's not Leviosa, it's Leviosa. Tony, you say, yay, you made it. You made it. Did you not make it last time? Hi. I hope you're having a good weekend. And how are you? Yes, how are you doing? Pharrell Writer, you said you don't know much about it, but you'll check out the video. Great. Yes, definitely. And so you'll be able to see the chapters that is your life, thinking about those timing techniques. But I like that combination, just to think about that in the 5th house in terms of your creativity. Oh. And I am gonna try and maybe wrap this up. I haven't barely even drank anything because I'm sitting here talking. But I just love chatting to you. It's fun. Are you coffee drinkers? Do you drink coffee? Tony said it's 11:11. Oh, so hold on. It's 6:11 here. So, do you live? Wait, Mars. Do you live like not California, but over a bit more to the right, to the east? Terrible. Ah. Rail Rider, you said you love coffee. Ooh, espresso. Yes, espresso, Alexander. Yep. Yeah. Love good espresso. But yeah, I just love having a cup of coffee every morning. Me and my partner have our coffee every morning. And then I'll have coffee in the afternoon after lunch. I really shouldn't be having this. I try not to, but I was like, you know what? Just do it. It's not espresso in it or a shot or anything. It's just a filtered coffee from the French press. Hi Lottie, welcome to you. Hope you're doing well. And then you're saying the placements that you have. You got Libra in the 3rd and Aries in the 9th. And then with Placidus, things are a bit different for you. Oh, okay. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah, no. 7-Eleven in Germany. Oh, yeah, it's an hour later. Oh, the Sage. Hey, wait, hold on. The Sage. I have that machine. Oh, is it the yeah, I have that machine. I do. I have that machine, but I can't remember. It's not the I can't remember the codes, but it's just the machine where you just do the shot, and then we have a grinder separately to the machine. But I'm pretty sure we could be on the same wavelength there. Yeah, the Bambino. Thank you. Alexander, thank you. Yeah, I have that. And I so agree. It's just the best thing. It's the best investment. It's amazing. Yes, so good. And then Lotta, you said thank you. You're doing good. Good. I'm glad. Aura, you said that your descendant is in Taurus at 10:41 degrees. Okay, 10 degrees 41 minutes. Looking forward to the eclipse, especially because it's with Jupiter and Uranus. Yes, we're going to be getting into this. Yeah. This is it. So we're going to be getting into today. You have the all-in-one with the grinder included. Yes, I love it. You've named it the Beast. I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, do you know, I feel like I feel as if how do I say this? COVID strongly push this sort of like new wave of coffee drinkers in terms of drinking it from home because we didn't have access, we didn't get to go out or anything or buy coffee. So I think maybe that forced a lot of people to, think about, well, how about coffee from home? Auras, which house would that be? Seeing auras. You said, do I know my aura? No, I don't know. I've never really looked into that, to be honest, but that could be interesting to look into. And the Taurus eclipse is going to be conjunct your sun, Frel Rider. Ooh. Yeah, it's 5 degrees, so it's going to be quite close to your sun. What would it correlate to? Auras. I really, to be honest, I don't know. But if I was to guess, I would say either the 12th or the first house. Maybe the 12th, actually. Because it's something that's like, it's not necessarily physical as per se. And it seems more spiritual to me. You said my aura is green. The heart chakra. Oh, okay. You can see my aura. Oh. Is that good? Okay, right. I'm going to get into this. Thank you so much for just chatting with me for the past 15 minutes. It was nice just to properly take my time and warm up, have a little bit of coffee, and then we're going to get into it. And yeah, it was really nice to chat. Yeah, or is this very Neptunian? Yeah, I see that. Very Neptunian. And then, you know what's interesting about that, Alexander? If you say it's green, right? The heart chakra, I have Leo in the 12th. So like Leo corresponds with the heart, maybe. But anyway, that's just going off some fun ideas. Okay, so we're going to get into this. And if I'm a little bit quiet with you in terms of responding, seeing what you're saying, it's, well, because we're getting into the presentation now. But I do hope that you find it to be helpful. Okay, so the lunar eclipse happening here in Taurus on the 28th of October, just a few days before Halloween. And I just want to remind you that you can find my products over at hannahselsewhere.com. eBooks, guides, cheat sheets, merch, all that good stuff. You can also pick a reading with me over there if you wish. And you can even find my digital products over at my Etsy. And if you do want extra astrology content early, plus daily forecasts and behind the scenes information, PDF guides, you can join the Patreon. And I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you kindly to my patrons over at Patreon. I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you. So these are some of the aspects that we're going to be going over today. And this is just to remind you that the way I do this is we break it down, okay? We look at the astrology, we look at the aspects, we break it down. And then what we do is we look at your horoscopes. So there's also a Q&A, so like an opportunity if you want to ask me about your chart, okay? Because the thing is that I may be talking about your horoscopes and transits, but that is based on those 12 signs. And every chart is unique. Every chart is different. So you could have other parts, other placements in your chart that are being activated. You know, like you were saying there, Pharrell Writer, that the sun will actually be conjunct the solar eclipse for you. So that means something. And hi, I just want to say hello, welcome to Whitney. Welcome. Yay, that's great. I hope you're doing well today, Whitney. So these are some of the aspects we're going to be exploring. So as you can perhaps see here, there will be a stellium in Scorpio. Okay, so a stellium means 3 or more planets in a sign. Stellium in Scorpio, but also a stellium in Taurus. And then the sun and moon will oppose each other at 5 degrees. So this lunar eclipse is happening at 5 degrees in Taurus. Moon will also make a conjunction to Jupiter there. Then Mars will oppose Jupiter there at 11 degrees too. So that will be a strong one, a strong aspect to take note of. Then also what we see here is that Mercury and Mars will conjunct the sun during this eclipse. Pluto will trine Uranus retrograde. Saturn retrograde will trine the sun and sextile the moon. Then Ceres will also oppose Uranus retrograde there. Ceres will also make a sextile to Venus by the same degree. So that's going to be at 18 degrees. So we're going to get into that. And then Black Moon, Lilith, and Juno will oppose Saturn retrograde. Plus, Sun will trine Vesta and sextile the moon. So as you can see there, Vesta is in Cancer. And then lastly, Chiron will in conjunct Venus and Ceres. And like I said, Venus will sextile Ceres as well. So these are the certain aspects that we're going to be diving into. Of course, I'm not going over every single aspect, but these are the main ones that we're going to be focusing on today. So I just want to remind you then of lunar eclipses. You know, what is it about lunar eclipses? Why are they so significant? And the reason for why they're so significant is because they look at powerful change. Okay, powerful releasing. They represent a significant time to let go. They're a lot more potent, a lot more powerful in comparison to full moons. Okay, of course, this is a full moon lunar eclipse. Just like with solar eclipses, a lot more powerful and potent in comparison to new moons. Okay, the new moon solar eclipse. Still, lunar eclipses also ask us, what's holding you back, right? What is it that's holding you back from moving forward? What are you shedding? What are you letting go of? What are you releasing? And this is also a closing worth paying attention to. But the other thing with eclipses, well, full moons, is we reap rewards. But the reaping of rewards when it comes to lunar eclipses is a lot more significant, you could say. Maybe there's perhaps more there's more things to do with the past. There's more rewards to do with the past there. And the other thing is, this is the final eclipse in Taurus for the next 9 years or so. So this is a big one. This is a big one. This really is the closing of a chapter, like a major chapter. This eclipse cycle started November 2021. So what have you learned, which we're going to talk more about in a moment. But really, it is a time to evaluate, to reflect, especially thinking about your Taurus house, your Scorpio house. What planets do you have in Taurus? What planets do you have in Scorpio? What aspects are being made to certain planets? I know for me, I have Aquarius planets. I've got an Aquarius stellium. So then that means that the eclipses were squaring my Aquarius energy. And you know what? I would say that highs and lows. Highs and lows. We'll talk more about that in a moment. Rest. Certainly rest when it comes to eclipses. With the solar eclipse even that happened last night, I rested all day yesterday and it was great. Okay, 5 degrees. The number 5 in numerology looks at things like being adaptable, being social, change, okay? This to me is like such a freedom orientated lunar eclipse, especially because Jupiter will conjunct the moon as well. Jupiter, of course, is very much tied to freedom, which we're going to get into. We're going to touch on Jupiter throughout your horoscopes. And this is just a little visual, well, not a visual, but well, it is a visual. It's just very like average image of what a lunar eclipse looks like, So with solar eclipses, you may have seen in the previous video about the solar eclipse in Libra, the moon is more so between Earth and the sun. Did any of you check out the eclipse, by the way? The annular solar eclipse? Did any of you see it in the sky? We did not see it here. Definitely not. But I wonder if you did. But yeah, so the lunar eclipse there, it's basically it's on the other side, as you can see from that image. Right, so here's some important dates that I wanted to show you. Let's think firstly about the last set of eclipses that happened in Taurus and Scorpio. So this was from 2012 to 2014. I can think of some significant things that happened in my life. I think back to that time. Actually, this is very interesting, to be honest, because so I have Scorpio. This is just an example so I'm using myself as an example, and then maybe you can look at your own chart to kind of see, right? But I have Scorpio in the 3rd, and then I have Taurus in the 9th. I have no planets in Taurus, not even any asteroids there. And then I have Pluto in Scorpio in the 3rd. And it was this time period whereby which I traveled a lot. Like I remember I traveled to Australia. I worked abroad, right? You think about Taurus, right? Money, earnings. Oh my goodness. I'm just forming all these connections in my brain right now, but money and earnings. And so I did. I worked abroad. I worked in Australia, and then I went and I worked in the USA, in Florida, and then in New Jersey for a bit. So travel was a big part of it. But then also I do remember that with that Scorpio energy in the 3rd, oh my gosh, I was so so anxious about it all, you know? I find it really hard to like connect with people, to relate to people, but then a lot of that is from my own personal like emotional stuff, my own psychological stuff, which I am so happy that during this set of eclipses with Taurus and Scorpio, I've actually been doing more of the Scorpio stuff, you know? I've been more so diving into my psyche, into my unconscious. But then at the same time, I would also say with this set of eclipses this time around, I've been putting myself out there more so with respect to what I do on here, right? You think about the ninth house through a lens of broadcasting and putting your message out there. It doesn't just have to be where you travel to a different country, you travel abroad as a way to experience or traveling abroad when it comes to earning money. I've very much been doing that online, right? So that way, so in this way, looking at broadcasting, okay, looking at the teachings even that I do on here. So it's interesting to see the connections. And I do just want to say, I want to just look at the comments a moment. Martin, you said yesterday you ended up buzzing around like a blue till midnight. Oh no! Oh my gosh. Oh, so yeah, you really got the hyperactive side of it kind of all over the show. Well, do you know what? I hope that you had a nice sleep and I hope that you get plenty of rest today. Pharrell Ryder, you got married. Oh my gosh. Oh, love. Love it. Brianna, hi. Hi, Brianna. Welcome. Welcome to this live stream. I hope you're doing good. Um, Akshaya. I'm sorry about my pronunciation. I really do try my best. Um, you said you loved all the videos, recent work on the origins. Yeah, the origins of astrology. Thank you so much for that feedback on that. You know, I really enjoyed making those videos, and they took a lot of work, a lot of digging, and I'm so happy that you find them to be useful. How it is affect so how is the lunar eclipse going to affect Scorpio ascendants? We're going to get into it. We're going to get into it with the horoscopes at the very end. Brianna, you said you did your sociology degree in the last set of eclipses. Now you're questioning if it's the right thing. Oh, see, that is, you know what? I'm so glad you said that because I think that's the thing when it comes to eclipses, and I'm just addressing this to everybody watching. When it comes to eclipses, the thing is that you can perhaps it's like there's similar themes that come up because of course this is back to Taurus and Scorpio again. It doesn't mean it's exactly the same, you know. So for example, I'm not working abroad in a different country. I'm more so working from home, but I'm still like sort of broadcasting information to the world as well. So but there's still that element of work, right? So basically all of this is to say that you can find similar themes and patterns, but things can still be somewhat different. But that's why it's useful to look at those themes and patterns. You know, you were saying there about the sociology to go around and you're questioning it. Francisco, you said social deaths. Tony, you said you've got a Scorpio rising. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going. Right. So these eclipses then are in Taurus and Scorpio from November 2021 until 2023. Okay. So the 28th of October here. But I also want to mention with this that yes, Taurus is closing. Taurus is closing these eclipses, but you're still going to feel the impacts of this eclipse for the next 6 months or so. So I think it's actually a really, really good idea to like journal, to just write down anything significant that comes up with respect to your Taurus house, even thinking about Scorpio. Just use the next 6 months to reflect, to just see like what have you learned really. Now, let's also address how a lunar eclipse in Taurus opened the eclipses back in November 2021. Venus, of course, being the dispositor of that eclipse, and it was in Capricorn. And then that year, there was also the Venus retrograde in Capricorn. I think it was like toward the end of 2021, coming into 2022. So try and reflect then back to that time and think about what came up for you. Think about how you entered these set of eclipses and what did you release? What did you shed with respect to things like achievements, accomplishments, long term goals, success, these types of themes? And then in 2023, there was also that lunar. So, this we're talking about this year, right? So, the most recent eclipse, there was the lunar eclipse in Scorpio. That was back in May. Pretty sure it was May time. And Mercury was retrograde in Taurus at the time. And then Mars, which would have been the dispositor of that lunar eclipse, was in Cancer. So that one I think was quite profound. It certainly woke me up to a few unhealthy ways of dealing with people, unhealthy ways of being in conversations with other people, thinking about, my emotions, my emotional reactions to things. So that's a good opportunity to reflect there. Then I just want to finish off by saying that there were the two sets of eclipses in 2022. We had the lunar eclipse in Taurus, followed by the solar eclipse in Scorpio there. So Venus was in Scorpio during the lunar eclipse in Taurus, and then Mars was in Gemini during that solar eclipse in Scorpio. So with that one, just reflect and just see what was happening with your own chart. And then there was also the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and then that solar eclipse in Taurus. Mars was in Pisces during the lunar eclipse in Scorpio, and then Venus was in Pisces during the solar eclipse in Taurus. So just to clarify with this, the lunar eclipse in Scorpio and the solar eclipse in Taurus would have taken place then around about like May time 2022. And then the other set of the lunar eclipse in Taurus and the solar eclipse in Scorpio, that would have taken place around about October, November time then. I do find that interesting actually with the first set there at the beginning. So around May 2022, with both Mars and Venus being activated in Pisces, those Pisces themes. Find that quite interesting. But anyway, all of this is to say, look at this. Look at this information, do some findings for yourself. Here's the information. Have a look at your chart, see what was going on for you. I think when it comes to astrology, especially with respect to eclipses, it's good to reflect, because you can really start to understand these cycles and understand the sort of patterns and themes that go on within your own life. So, with all of that out of the way, let's break this down. Let's talk about this eclipse, which is approaching. Like I said, there will be stelliums in both Scorpio and Taurus. So, the Scorpio part of it, this is how I see it. The Scorpio part of it is like, right, what's to be cut, right? What cuts are you making? What are you releasing? What are you purging? What are you letting go of? What are you overcoming in this way? What challenges have you overcome these last couple of years in your Scorpio house? And the thing about this too, I just want to say, is that when it comes to eclipses, the nodes are never too far away. Okay, so with the eclipses, we also have that south node in Scorpio. So really, think about what you were releasing, what you were shedding within your Scorpio house there. And then the thing coming up to this lunar eclipse, it's the grand finale. This is what this is. This is the grand finale. This is the final push. Then with Taurus, keep in mind that the North Node would have been in Taurus there. The Taurus part of it says, okay, predictability, comfort, security. But this is the final powerful stability. Even I would say it is a release of sorts because it's a full moon, it's a lunar eclipse. But yeah, in your Taurus house for the next 9 or so years. So I think that this is an eclipse where there's just a lot of this like purging going on. There is a lot of like flushing out, cleaning the system. Really thinking about how we can move forward with greater awareness surrounding our worth, right? Taurus is so much about our self-worth. Then also, the other thing I want to say with this is I've actually included this at the very bottom of the screen. So there's a song by Green Velvet. I'm not sure if you've heard this song, but it's called Voicemail, and I recommend listening to it. But in it, the lyrics read, "What do you desire? Love or material things?" And I thought that that was so so representative of this eclipse. And just looking at Taurus here, the archetype of Taurus, because Taurus, of course, Taurus can look at things like, well, our materials, our possessions, our belongings, but then it's also this sign that loves a lot and it's ruled by Venus, of course. So there's a great deal of love involved and it's very much about desire. But I think the eclipses here have been teaching us a lot about like genuine connection. Even Scorpio energy is like this. Scorpio energy sort of says to Taurus, um, you do know that love goes much deeper than just buying something for someone, or love goes much deeper than just cozying up with someone at the end of the day. That the intimacy piece is powerful, and that vulnerability, especially emotional vulnerability, is huge here. So yeah, I just felt inspired to share that because I just think that with stelliums being both in Taurus and Scorpio, it's almost like we're going to be questioning these things, really questioning the very meaning of relationships, the very meaning of our bonds, our emotional bonds there. Okay, so also I want to mention here that the Mars energy is opposing Jupiter. Mars is assertive, Jupiter is expansive. So this could look like pretty combative energy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This could be overpowering energy. This can be controlling energy. This can be explosive. This can be tension. Tension can build and then we explode. And we're even seeing this with respect to what's happening globally. There's Pluto there in Capricorn, and then there's that trine to Uranus retrograde, and then the nodes are also a part of it, where there's a lot going on socially, politically, these issues that are happening. But I think that Mars and Jupiter, that opposition, is looking at your own personal beliefs toward it all. Everyone has an opinion about it. Everyone has an opinion about what's going on collectively. Everybody has an opinion about what's happening, when it comes to their phones, what they're seeing on the news. What is the truth? Like, truly, like what is the truth? And it just feels like there's a lot of like back and forth, me versus you. Yeah. Perhaps not a lot of listening though. So I think if we were to bring this back to the self, if we were to bring this back to your own sort of personal experiences, what is your vision? How can you achieve whilst also being moral and just? Questioning morality. I think this is going to be a lunar eclipse where we're questioning morality. We're questioning things like greed. We're questioning things like obsession. This is the thing too I want to mention. I was saying there about Scorpio with like the deeper bonds and emotional vulnerability, but Scorpio can also be obsessed with power, right? Been looking into like the dark side of the signs and how there are manifestations of people like who have walked this planet who like they basically represent or showcase the dark side of the signs, and it's confronting. I'm not going to get into the people who I've been looking up. Maybe that's for another day. But it's interesting to look at. And the thing about Scorpio in terms of like that dark side to Scorpio, yeah, it can be very much about like power and being ruthless, like ruthless about power. Oh, and also Scorpio can be that type of energy where it's like they're hiding in plain sight, right? In plain sight. Because There's the whole thing where controlling one's emotions, right? Controlling one's emotions whilst underneath, internally, it's a whole different thing. But the whole thing about hiding in plain sight, it's like that's extremely manipulative. Scorpio energy can point toward this type of stuff. So, all of this is to say that I think that this is a lunar eclipse where we're going to be questioning a lot of this stuff. Like, what are our morals? Can we reach higher as a collective? What is it that you see as fair? What is it that you see as just? Jupiter is so much about morality. When do you sell your soul to the devil? And this is not to get into like religion or anything like that. I've wrote the devil as a way to be um to be confronting, or to be like to make it like quite strong in a way. Quite strong. The thing is that we see this a lot, don't we? You know, even just to make it practical, right? Let's make it practical. You have you have you have a gentleman who has a family, right? I'm just going by an example from the top of my head. A gentleman who has a family, okay? A loving man, a good man. And then this man is offered something, offered maybe a sum of money, offered luxury, offered something very attractive, perhaps a person who's alluring and attractive. And then what does that man do? Absolutely sells his soul, gives up on his family. Because of what? Money. Money. So, yeah. These are the things that we can come up against in life, isn't it? Martin, you said he's tempted. Yeah, temptation. Temptation. Perhaps you could say that this is an eclipse that's very tempting. Very tempting. But it's also why it's good to ask ourselves, what about our moral compass? Are we willing to go against our conscience? Are we willing to go against our moral compass? And this is the thing I like about guilt. We talk about guilt, and guilt is seen as a negative emotion, right? I think anger also is seen as negative. It's like, oh, you can't be angry. Oh no, I feel guilty. It's so bad. But guilt can be valuable, because what guilt can do is it can redirect us. When your conscience is set, you know in the back of your mind, like, my conscience is telling me no. You think about Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio. It's like, no, don't do that. But you do it. What do you feel? What do you feel after? Guilty, ridden with guilt. But guilt is that, like, it's that emotion that signals to you, shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have done that. And you know what? I don't like feeling that, because guilt is, it's horrible. It's a horrible feeling. I don't like feeling it. But it reminds us of what not to do. And so, yeah, I think this is a full moon that's going to sort of play on our conscience and play on our will, our strength of will, right? Mars, our willpower, our strength, commitment, right? Commitment. And then I suppose the thing about this too is your feelings of contentment. How content do you feel in your life? I think that's the thing when it comes to this whole idea of taking on opportunities that don't actually align with our moral compass, is because we don't feel content within ourselves. We don't feel secure, right? We don't feel secure within ourselves. So it's like we're because we don't have that inner security, because we don't have that sense of worth, we're not content within ourselves, we're not content within our lives, and we're more willing to sort of just give it away, to fall for something that isn't good for us, that doesn't align with us. And I think that's where worth has to come into it, and also values, asking yourself, what are your values? And yes, loyal and integrity. Loyalty and integrity. Yeah. And just to answer Pharrell Writer, you're saying tempting for everyone or for Scorpios. This is basically, when it comes to reading these aspects, this is more of like a collective view. Okay. But as I say, the horoscopes are going to be at the end. This is just, I like to do this where I look at the aspects, I look at it on more of a collective level. And I also just draw from certain experiences, and I like to make it practical. Okay, so Ceres will also oppose Uranus retrograde. So what this can look like is major attachment breakthroughs. Ceres is very much about attachment, breaking free from compulsive, controlling patterns. And perhaps also, this looks at our ability to overcome, to look at our personal power there as well. And I think a question that came up for me was, do you see how the past plays a role in how you experience closeness with others? You think about attachment and closeness. If, for example, you didn't feel loved or valued or cared for or supported as a child, it could be more difficult for you to experience closeness, for instance. So it's trying to maybe assess these patterns, these emotional patterns with Ceres here in Scorpio. The interesting thing actually about Ceres is that, what is it? It's technically a dwarf planet, similar to Pluto. Yeah, from the top of my head, I could be wrong on that. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up with minor planet, but yeah. And you could even say that in this respect, that Ceres is like an extra planet. I've seen certain astrologers say that actually. It's interesting to think about. Okay, so surprising inner security changes because we recognize the power of emotional vulnerability. Yeah. It's surprising how much, whenever we are vulnerable, how we can actually feel closer to other people. It's scary. It's also scary. It's also a process. This is not a black and white thing. And the thing about this too, I just want to say, I was answering your question, Pharrell, writer about for everyone. This is also like over the space of over the next 6 months or so. This eclipse, it's something that it's basically not just a one day thing, right? And it's really to reflect a lot, I think, on these energies. And it takes time. It takes time to integrate. It takes time to learn. And then as well, do we run away from those more emotional discussions? And this is about being honest with ourselves as well, about attachment and separation. Hi, Danielle. Welcome. How are you doing? Welcome. Okay, so let's look here at Moon conjunct Jupiter and then Mercury conjunct Mars. Okay. I would say that this is much more related to around the time period of this lunar eclipse. Okay, we think about, especially with the Moon, Mercury, and Mars being, especially Mercury and Mars, with being quite personal. But let's think here about sharp words, okay, cutting words. Saying the thing we have been meaning to say, but we're too afraid. We were too afraid to say it. Uncomfortable reactions to what we say. It's not all happy-go-lucky this lunar eclipse, right? The moon may be conjunct Jupiter, but it's still Scorpio season, and Mercury and Mars are there. So the truth, the truth will come out. Secrets. Well, any secrets? Any skeletons in your closet? Because this could be a time period where things are very much illuminated. And that's not to scare you. That's not to, you know, make you feel uncomfortable. That can actually be a powerful thing, an empowering thing. And I think as well, sometimes you need to be cruel to be kind. Sometimes you need to be cruel to be kind. You think about, for example, right? Somebody struggles with alcohol, right? An alcoholic. And the alcoholic is like saying, "Oh no, I just need money. I just need money. I just need money. I just need money." And you say, "No, no, I'm not giving you." The alcoholic says, "Oh, you're so horrible. You're so cruel. You're so mean. You're so ah." But no, it's not. That's not cruelty. That's actually kindness. That's actually kindness to say no. Because what's the alternative? To give the money, and then for the alcoholic to go buy more alcohol, and then for what? What would you be doing? You'd be enabling it. You would be enabling that behavior. So, what's really the cruel thing here? What's really the kind thing here? I know that that's probably quite a drastic example, but sometimes in life, you need to be cruel to be kind. And often, whenever we are kind, often whenever we are being kind and then we're seen as cruel, it's like, is that really the case? Maybe this is even looking at stepping into a bit of a villain era during this lunar eclipse. We're the villain in someone's eyes, right? And what I mean by this is, there's people out there that don't like you. There's Oh, we saw this today, we saw this today in the comment section. Someone was just mean. And it's just like, okay, they don't like me. All right, it's fine. Okay, getting to the heart of the matter. No sugarcoating. Scorpio does not like to sugarcoat. Scorpio will be very direct with you. Like it's almost painful of how direct a Scorpio will be with you. But again, like, okay, sure, on a very negative, dark side, this energy can go to those extremes and go really, like, be really mean, really cruel, really vicious. And people can be cruel, right? Yes. But sometimes with sometimes with Scorpio energy, uh it can be very cutthroat, and that's just it. That's just it. And you may not like the words that they say. And you may think, "Oh, that was mean." Okay, so this is also, I think, looking at encouragement, empowerment, having this like encouraging mindset, this empowering mindset. Scorpio can also be that type of energy that will like push you to be your better version, the best version of yourself. And this is also this mindset of I can do anything. Grr. I said grr. So silly. But yeah, it's like I can do anything. Yes. Like I can do this. It's so motivating, so powerful. Woo! That's that Scorpio energy. And it's like proving other people wrong, proving those haters wrong, proving the people who don't like you wrong, people who want to see you fail, people who want to bring you down, people who are jealous of you or who have something to say about you behind your back. It's like, well, do you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. This makes me think here. This makes me think about perfect Scorpio moon example. Who's that? Who's that? Lady Gaga, right? Lady Gaga was rejected, right? She was rejected at the very beginning of her music career. Do you know what she did? She cried, right? Yes, Scorpio moon energy. She cried. She watched horror movies. She had junk food. And then what she did is she got angry. And then she started working out like crazy. And then she proved other people wrong. This is the thing about Mars energy. When it's set back, right? When there's a failure. Same with Saturn, right? Saturn and Mars are seen as like malefics, where it's so negative. No, it's not. It's not super negative. Like yes, there's negative parts of it, but the thing about it is there's such an ability to overcome. There's such an ability to like rise up and to fight even harder. Whenever there's a pushback, a setback, like a failure, the people with strong Saturn energy, strong Mars energy, they will get right back up and they will show you, prove to you that they cannot be held down for long. No. You think you can bring them down? You think you can bring me down? It says at the end. You have another thing coming. So I just think that this is such a big part of this eclipse. Watch me soar like the phoenix, right? This is Scorpio energy soaring like the phoenix. But at the same time, what are the demons in your head saying about you? How are they bringing you down? How about we tell those negative thoughts to shut up? And it could also be a time period where our patience is tested. Okay. Honesty as well about your emotional needs, the strength to face what is buried in the subconscious, the need to be comforted and to be supported and held as well. We go looking at the emotional vulnerability part. The moon being in Taurus also adds a layer of softness and gentleness too. This is so much of our emotional tension is because we don't communicate what we need. So I think this also invites the question of when have you been hurt? The interesting thing about this is Sagittarius in the sky actually points toward the heart of the Scorpion. And what is this? This is my view on this. It's the truth of pain, right? The truth of pain. Working through that pain and learning to trust. It's so interesting when I was, thinking about how I was speaking there about Lady Gaga and like all the with Mars and the encouragement and the power and soaring like the phoenix. But then Taurus moon, what that does is it brings us way back down. Okay? Brings us way back down into the body. Breathe out. Comfort yourself. Taurus energy. Gotta love it. Okay, so Ceres opposite Uranus retrograde as well. So yes, we said there about the attachment breakthroughs, but also asking ourselves what our heart is craving. Because the thing is that Venus Ceres energy is also making an in conjunction to Chiron. So looking here at heartache, times we've felt quite broken. We felt stuck. We felt lost. Any fears of rejection, any fears of abandonment, holding space for love, desire, being wanted. There's so much like courage in the ability to say, I want to be loved in this way. It's interesting. We've come away from the Venus retrograde in Leo, and a lot of it was about, that validation, like validate yourself. And it's like, yeah. But you know what? It's also good to be validated by other people, by the ones that you love. It's good to be liked. It's good to be wanted. It's good to have attention. We all need, I think, we all crave affection. I think we all crave some type of connection to connect. And Scorpio energy is very much a sign of that emotional connection. Ceres being in Scorpio there. But there's a lot of healing in this. Healing that comes from connection. But don't judge it. Don't criticize it. Venus in Virgo may point toward this, criticizing it, or compartmentalizing everything. But Venus also will oppose Neptune retrograde, highlighting self-compassion. And then Ceres and Venus will be the same degree. So I think in this way, it shows us that during the solar eclipse, we will want to be shown in physical ways, practical ways, that people care, that people want us, that they love us. If we want things to change, though, if we want change to happen, we must be the change. We must improve, work on ourselves and our own issues. And then we have Saturn retrograde, trine the sun, sextile the moon, and then black moon Lilith will oppose Saturn retrograde. So instead of projecting our pain onto others or turning to self-destruction, right? How about we be that change, like I was saying a moment ago? What are your defense mechanisms? Do you allow others to get close, or do you push them away? Are you paranoid that others will let you down or break your trust, break your heart? Have you been hurt in the past? What if you could find another way? A way out of the darkness, so to speak, and into a new horizon? Venus trine Jupiter retrograde and Uranus retrograde, a new method, a new system, a new source of inspiration, a new source of understanding, a new source of depth. Breaking free from relationship patterns that no longer serve us. I said service us there, but I meant to say serve us. They only impact our health and they keep us from growing. Okay. And I want to say with this that Venus will start to trine Uranus retrograde more and more. And there will be that same degree trine on Halloween. So just pay attention then around this eclipse and leading up to the eclipse, what like relationship shifts and changes happen. And this doesn't necessarily have to be on a physical level, where it is more about external stuff, right? Between you and someone else. I think this is also looking at like a major energetic shift from within. And what I'm visualizing, well, when I wrote this, I was visualizing like a flock of birds flying across the sky in perfect sequence, perfect harmony. And it's trying to find that kind of that feeling from within. And thinking outside of the box as well is a part of this, trying a different approach. What have you not considered yet? What have you not considered when it comes to things like inner security and worth and feeling like calm from within to regulate, right? To regulate your nervous system. Looking at the senses, looking at the body here to do with Taurus energy. And the thing is that often it is our mind that limits us the most. The mind can be our own worst enemy. Mercury and Scorpio. You have the devil on one shoulder, you have the angel on the other shoulder. It's like, which one are you going to believe? Perhaps neither. So I think a big part of this eclipse is about bringing it back down into the body. Into the body. Don't give in to the tricks of others. The tricks that other people play. And I know it's kind of interesting because it'll be around Halloween, trick or treat, right? But yeah, don't give in to the tricks other people play. Any mind game stuff, just don't. Don't. You know how it's like enter with even dating or relationships, it's like, oh well, I'm gonna just say that I'm busy that weekend, and maybe I'll just see how they respond to that. Or I'm not going to text that person back because, yeah, it's better just to wait. And, there's a bit of like trickery in that. Maybe you could call it strategy, but that's just what came to my mind. It's just the whole thing of um, playing games, playing mind games. I think if we try to play mind games around this eclipse, I think it may very well backfire. Get straight to the point. It's like, get to the point, say it like it is. Taurus energy is very much like that as well. And be courageous in the process. Of course, at the same time, Taurus is ruled by Venus and it's about harmony as well. I know. But I think that this is the type of energy that we're coming up against here. Okay, so this is the last part we're going to look at before we get into your horoscopes. Sun trine Vesta, sextile moon, and then Pluto trine Uranus retrograde. That is an aspect that I already touched on, but with Pluto trine Uranus retrograde and then the nodes, this does it's also it looks here at the in the collective way. So collectively there are monstrous acts happening. The collective unconsciously being frightened, perhaps, mourning, grief. But then I think what this is about with the eclipse happening in Taurus is like bringing it back to the self and thinking about, well, what is it? Who is it in your life? What is it in your life that brings you calm and comfort in this respect through it all? And then the other thing with Vesta, especially being in Cancer, family matters come to the surface. I think around this lunar eclipse, a lot is going to come up here to do with family. Do you see how family relationships play a role in how we relate with others on an intimate level? Your emotional health comes to the forefront here, your well-being, great time to slow down, to go inward. Grounding techniques can be so useful. Have a great meal, cook with intention. Just be mindful of your reactions. Okay. Okay. It will indeed be an intense eclipse. Right. Horoscopes, we're going to get into it. And I want to say thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for speaking with me earlier, and thank you for sticking around during this presentation. I hope that you find it to be helpful. And I just want to take a moment to welcome all of the new viewers. Hello, David. Welcome. Hi, Eddie. Hi. Welcome. I hope you are doing good. Please let me know how you are. How are you doing? Thank you so much, Brianna. That's really lovely. Morals and ethics. And Heidi, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name, but welcome to you. Welcome. And I'm sorry to hear that about losing two husbands. I'm sorry. Tony. Okay. Thank you so much, Danielle. That's really nice of you. Thank you. I'm so glad. Hello, Teresa. Welcome to you. And then Alexandra, yeah, you said you have a Taurus moon. In your 8th house, right? Yeah, 8th house, and it's opposite Pluto. Hi, Myra. You said that the eclipse will conjunct your Taurus moon in the 7th. Oh, wow. So you're also you're experiencing your lunar return at the same time. Hi, Lily. Hi. You say you're from Montreal. Welcome to you. Okay. And Danielle, yay, that's awesome. Okay. Right. So let's break this down and get into your horoscopes for this lunar eclipse. Also, timestamps are going to be at the very end, so please be patient with me. And Danielle, the eclipse is going to happen at 5 degrees. 5 degrees. Okay, Aries. I'm just going to put my glasses on actually for this. Okay. Aries. So this is going to be the final powerful release in your second house. So for the next 6 months or so, we're noticing then a powerful release when it comes to things like your self-worth, your skills, your talents here, thinking about your earnings, your spending, any investments, anything that you're working toward. But Jupiter retrograde, I think, will help set you free from anything that's like holding you back when it comes to these matters. Okay, there's something here about gaining a deeper understanding about your financial freedom, for example, or about the type of success that you wish to achieve with respect to your earnings there. But then at the same time, this is also about transforming when it comes to intimacy, emotional vulnerability, closeness, emotional bonding, even soaring like the phoenix. Aries, Taurus and Scorpio have brought the evolution. So over the past 2 years, so the evolution of your psyche, the evolution with respect to shared resources, joint finances here, and then also growth, growth related to your self-worth, growth related to your talents and your skills here. So there have been a lot of profound changes that have been occurring then within these areas of your life over the past 2 years. And then the other thing I want to say with this is Venus will be in Virgo in your 6th house during this lunar eclipse. Venus will be the dispositor of this eclipse for you. So I think here, I think there's an element there's an element during this eclipse of you seeing what you would like to change with respect to your everyday routines, looking at any sort of improvements, any shifts and changes with respect to your health here as well. Wanting to be healthier, perhaps. Considering what it is that you need in order to feel like more settled, more secure in this respect. And then Mars will also be in Scorpio whilst this lunar eclipse is happening. So the moon then is reflecting this part of you that wants to like let go of a deeply psychological situation that perhaps is it's really playing on your mind, on the back of your mind a lot. So I think there is an energetic shift happening then for you, energetic shifts occurring with respect to your psyche, your psychology. Okay. And so this will be basically for you the closing of a chapter, right? The closing of a major chapter here to do with your personal earnings versus shared resources with respect to your own sense of self, your own sense of self-worth, versus how it is that you connect on an emotional level with others. Time, thank you so much. That was really, really lovely of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much kindly. Okay. So, just adding some more information that I want to keep with. Okay. Okay. Taurus. Oh, hi. Sorry. Ernest, hi. Welcome. You said you're from the Philippines. Welcome to you. I hope you're doing good. And Anhidi, you said, I said your name right. Okay. Costa Rica. So you're living in Costa Rica right now. Oh, you're from Costa Rica as well. Hi to you. Oh, well, thank you for commenting. Do you know what? I'm quite similar in that way. I'll watch people, but I never say anything because I'm so shy. I'm so shy. But thank you so much. I'm glad that you were able to participate today. And Ernest, you said you've been watching since you got into astrology. Yay, that's so good. Och, I really hope that you find the videos to be helpful. Welcome to you as well, if I didn't say that already. And Nawaf, hi, you say you got a Scorpio rising. Okay, cool. Okay, welcome as well, by the way, Nawaf. Right. Taurus. This lunar eclipse is going to be this final powerful release for you with respect to your aims, your goals, looking here about your identity, your life path, the things you aspire to be, the things that you want out of life. And this is going to be like a reflection process over the next 6 months. And then Jupiter retrograde, conjunct the lunar eclipse, I think is going to look at how you will be somewhat set free. Okay, looking here at you gaining a deeper understanding about the next step, for example. It's almost like the message is going to become very clear for you. It could be quite eye-opening, actually. And I would even argue that it will be around the actual lunar eclipse that this is going to happen for you, right? It's almost like, oh, this is the opportunity, or oh, this is the next step. I can see it. I can see it so clearly. And also, this is about you transforming when it comes to things like clients, customers, one-to-one meetings, negotiations, contributions, relationships. Okay, long-term committed relationships, for example. And then soaring like the phoenix. You think about it here, Taurus. The past 2 years have brought huge changes for you. Huge changes with the eclipses, because for one, the past 2 years have brought the evolution of, well, how it is that you relate to other people, how it is that you assert more like power in a way. Like I'm talking about this in a more positive way, to assert more power, to know in terms of your personal power within relationships, like overcoming, seeking to achieve, wanting to like evolve, really, right? As I say, evolving, the evolution here when it comes to relationships. So that's been quite eye-opening, I think, for you over the past 2 years. But then also looking at that growth, right, with Taurus, the growth that has happened when it comes to your self-image, okay? When it comes to your physical body, your physical condition, your physical appearance. And maybe with this being said, Taurus, you've been learning a lot about what it means to really be present in the body, what it means to be calm, how it is that you can go slower. I've realized this during this whole live stream, like anytime I find myself speeding up, Aries moon, like Taurus brings me way back. I know some Taurus moon people in my life who, my goodness, I am beyond grateful. Okay. Now, at the same time for you, Taurus, Venus will be in Virgo during this lunar eclipse. So I think there's also something here about your art, your hobbies, your interests, okay? I think there's something here about your creativity and wanting to improve upon that, to get better. Or even just looking here at the things that bring you a sense of like harmony and contentment in your life. Okay? Bringing it back. And even, I would say, with Mars being in Scorpio as well during this lunar eclipse, well, Mars in Scorpio is in a way, well, along with it. So basically, the moon is reflecting the part of you that is like letting go of any super destructive tendencies within relationships, sabotage. Okay, there could be that thing with Scorpio energy of self-sabotage. So I think that the moon will reflect this part, and then it's like, right, let that go. Let that go. Or even just an energetic shift. Okay? Energetic shifts, changes, which could very well keep going for the next 6 months or so. Just allow everything to process. And you perhaps know more than any other sign, Taurus, that it is a process. Okay? You're that sign that comes after Aries and you go, Aries, slow down. You're going too fast. You're going to hurt yourself. Don't you see that life is to be enjoyed? But still, it's a major closing of a chapter for you, at least for another 9 or so years, Taurus, when it comes to your life path, your aims, your goals, etc. Time. Thank you so much again. That was really nice of you. Really, thank you. And hello, A_1. Hi. Oh my gosh. Oh, cool. You've messaged me. I'll have to look after. Ah, well, welcome to you. It's nice to see you again. Ernest, you said that you have a Taurus sun as well. Okay. Uh, let me just check the loading section. Okay, I think we're good. Are we okay for internet connection? We good? Are we good? I hope so, because the little blue thing was going round and round. I'm like, no. Okay. Gemini. Oh, Gemini. Interesting. Right. So Gemini, there is this final powerful release happening in your 12th house during this lunar eclipse. And so for the next 6 months or so, I think this is about really going inward, really reflecting on like, what is it that I want? What is it about the next step here? But being calm about it, really just taking your time about it. Thing is about you, Gemini, is that it's almost like there's a ping, the ping pong machine, ping ball. I don't think that's like the correct words for that. Anyway, but those machines, the ball's just pinging about in the machine, and there's just a lot going on. And to me, it's just like the amount of thoughts, okay, things become like faster and faster, and you're like thinking about so much. But I think Taurus, like what's been really useful for you, Gemini, over the past couple of years is this Taurus energy has invited a time period just to really like slow down and to like recalibrate and to think more so about ease and what is the most comfortable feeling here, to really sink into the body, bring it back to the body. So I think that this is also going to be an eclipse where it's like, right, okay, perhaps there's more rest that's needed. Perhaps you do just want to go behind the scenes and take it easy for a little bit. And then I suppose the other thing as well I just want to say with this is thinking about your spiritual practices. Okay. I think a really beautiful thing about Gemini is the ability to ground the spiritual, to make the spiritual somewhat more practical. I think that that's such a gift, beautiful thing about Gemini. Still, Jupiter retrograde conjunct this lunar eclipse, I think will help. I think it will assist you in terms of setting you free with respect to any times when you feel like super nervous or super like dysregulated. Yeah, dysregulated. And I think this is about greater clarity and greater understanding about your higher meaning, about your aspirations, thinking here about even your growth, how it is that you wish to grow spiritually. And then this is also about transforming when it comes to, well, the sixth house stuff, your health, right? Everyday routines. We're noticing big work changes as well for you, Gemini, which is exciting. There's a lot of transformations happening for you when it comes to work and your everyday schedules and routines, etc. Soaring like that phoenix, right? Soaring and taking on a new routine or a position where you feel like you have that sense of control, or where you feel like this is truly what I'm passionate about. Passion is such a big thing about Scorpio. And then over the past 2 years or so for you, Gemini, Taurus and Scorpio have brought firstly, the evolution of, matters to do with your health, matters to do with hygiene, cleaning up, looking here at just your everyday life here, and then growth when it comes to who you are whenever it's just, it's just you. It's your private life. Looking here at how you can relax and unwind, and looking here at the types of things you visualize, the types of things you dream about. I think there's been a lot of like big spiritual shifts happening for Gemini over the past 2 years, even with Jupiter being there. You know, I think that you have like these shift in your own awareness, your shift in consciousness, and this will continue to happen then for the next 6 months or so. So yeah, it's almost like you'll be paying attention then to what comes up, reflecting. And then Venus will also be in Virgo there in your fourth house. So around this lunar eclipse, I do see this as you getting the house in order, some improvements there, even looking at how it is that you organize things and what little changes can you make to your everyday with respect to your home and your family there. Any sort of shifts that need to be made. And then Mars in Scorpio as well in the sixth house. Well, this looks at how the moon, so the moon in the 12th, is reflecting, well, it's reflecting the part of you that can perhaps let go of anything that is keeping you back from stepping into your personal power, being able to really identify any like obsessive issues or compulsive issues or like super controlling issues, but basically energetic shifts, big energetic shifts for you when it comes to the whole like daily routines, habits, etc. Okay. Right. So Cancer. Let's move on to Cancer. And also um he said Enga, is it Enga? Welcome to you. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You say you've got a Gemini moon and you're double Cancer. Okay. Interesting. And time, if was that another one? Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Thank you. It's very kind of you. And Teresa, you say you're doing this right now. Wow, okay. Yeah, you've got triple Gemini. You felt it even being a Gemini moon, Ernest. See, yeah, that's why I always say also watch for the moon. I know there's a lot of debates about what you should watch for. But it seems as if the moon still relates to people quite strongly. I relate quite strongly to my moon sign personally in horoscopes. Right. So Cancer, let's get into your horoscope. So Cancer, we're looking here at this final powerful release when it comes to, well, thinking here about your hopes and wishes for the future, thinking here about what you have learned when it comes to groups and friends and networks and communities that you're a part of. A lot has changed actually for you when it comes to your friendship circles, Cancer. Making new friends, losing friends, all of a sudden getting into these new communities, putting yourself out there in different ways, in new ways. And so, yeah, I think this is about like a release over the next 6 months. Just paying attention to what comes up, reflecting a bit. Then Jupiter retrograde, there conjunct the lunar eclipse, I think points towards some type of freedom then, um, wanting to sort of spread your wings, wanting to be free, wanting to try something outside of your comfort zone when it comes to communities and teams. And then gaining a deeper understanding about what has come up for you over the past few years. But at the same time, this has been about you transforming when it comes to that fifth house energy in Scorpio. So perhaps transforming when it comes to children, for instance. Perhaps you've become a parent over the past few years, Cancer. There's certain Cancers out there who have, or perhaps Cancerians who are already caregivers or parents. Perhaps this has been pointing toward major shifts with respect to the type of relationship that you have with your children. Then again, this can look at transformations with respect to your hobbies, right? Your interests, the things that you like to do during your spare time. I mean, Cancerians produce some pretty like deep work and well, the creativity basically of a Cancerian consists of depth. That is a better way to put it. Consists of depth and emotion. So, yes, perhaps you have been soaring like the phoenix, basically, when it comes to your creative endeavors, even when it comes to your romantic relationships, Cancer. So many Cancerians have changed. Oh my goodness, have changed so much. And perhaps those changes have come because of, like, I'm going to say it, because of loss, because of breakups, because of heartache. But I still think that this looks at just just the growth that's happened, right? Evolution. We said that with the Scorpio energy, the evolution of romance and love there. Just it's yeah, you have indeed soared. And then even here with Taurus, that has brought so much growth here when it comes to putting yourself out there. Thinking here about it's kind of in a way, yeah, okay, pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone a bit, but also I think finding people who you align with in terms of values. Some Cancerians, I'm gonna just throw this out there. Cancer, perhaps you've made like more Taurus friends the past couple of years, right? Maybe you haven't been aware so much of their placements, but it could be that you've actually made friends who have Taurus placements, for example. So there's that, or you've become closer with Taurus individuals over the past few years. Then the other thing is Venus will be in Virgo during this lunar eclipse. So Venus will be in your third house. So I think this lunar eclipse is also pointing toward like the beauty of communication, like the ways in which communication can be so poetic and loving, but also doing so in a way that is like practical and matter of fact too. Of course, you've got Virgo in the third house. Maybe even some of you earn money from your communicative skills here, Cancer. Or even people come to you for advice, like your friends are coming to you for advice more, they want to hear your feedback. So there's that, and then even improving upon your communicative skills, improving upon something educational. And then Mars will be in Scorpio there in the fifth house. So I think this is looking here at how the moon is going to reflect the the part of you that may kind of hold on or cling on to certain relationships. So that's something I think to keep in mind. Maybe this is looking here at an energetic shift then, right? Because it could look at, there's some patterns, like repetitive patterns. The thing about you Cancer is you can get caught up in these cycles and these patterns unknowingly. So perhaps, yeah, this is an eclipse that's like it's gonna bring awareness to these patterns, and then perhaps you can break them or you can like start something else. Okay. Leo. So Leo, there is going to be a final powerful release in your 10th house. So looking here, Leo, at oh my gosh, the amount of changes that have happened for Leos when it comes to their career, when it comes to their professional lives these past couple of years. So yeah, a lot has happened, and I think a lot of it has to do with your worth, right? Knowing your worth, um, knowing how much to charge for your services, for example, as well, or knowing which types of positions and roles really suit you. So I think there's been some change there. And then over the next 6 months, it's time to reflect on these things, Leo. And then with Jupiter retrograde as well being a part of this, I think this is pointing toward expanding your horizons as well. Seeing what it is that you can do in order to like get your name out there more, in order to promote yourself, looking at your brand, right? If it is that you're a Leo with your own sort of business or you have a brand, then yeah, it's like how can you promote that or broadcast that in a new way? Um, and then perhaps as well, there's something here about traveling, right? Traveling for professional reasons. Or perhaps it's just that, you think about what you want to publish, what you want to sort of offer the public in this way, and what it is that you want to be known for, how it is that you wish to teach. Also, this is about transforming when it comes to family and home, these transformations that have occurred for you then, Leo, with respect to your emotional security, your emotional needs, right? And I'm not saying that this has been all fine and dandy and easy, no. This fourth house energy is quite profound. So I just think that it's looking at those like huge emotional shifts that have been happening for you. And some, yeah, perhaps have been highly uncomfortable, but it has been very much about your personal power in this way. And as I say, like I've been saying with everyone, soaring like that phoenix, right? Soaring like that phoenix within family matters, seeing what shifts and changes have happened when it comes to your personal growth there. And then as well, over the past 2 years, Taurus and Scorpio have brought these shifts, right? So thinking here about the evolution that's happened and occurred when it comes to certain family relationships. I mean, it could be that you've reunited with certain family members. It could be that you have become closer to certain family members, or it's that you have um, separated yourself from certain family members. But there does seem to be something here about the changes that have happened, and then growth as well with respect to, like I was saying there, career, your achievements and your accomplishments too. I mean, Leo, you have Taurus in the 10th house, and I think a large part of your achievements and accomplishments are tied to, thinking here about the likes of beauty, music, art, products, your skills, whatever skills and talents you have. It's like you want to be known for those things, right? So yeah, I think there's been a lot of growth on your end then over the past 2 years. Now Venus will also be in the second house during this lunar eclipse, and so we are noticing these improvements then that you wish to make when it comes to your earnings, your spending habits, etc. Those little improvements that you wish to make, which can assist you and support you even when it comes to your professional life there. And then also thinking here about your self-worth, of course. Um, and then with Mars being in Scorpio, well, the moon is reflecting the this I think the moon is reflecting anything that is like emotionally challenging or emotionally chaotic for you. Even thinking about like turbulence, emotional turbulence, which may sound quite extreme, but of course, this is Scorpio energy. So it could be that there is a major shift up ahead for you here. And again, this is going to last for the next 6 months or so. Time, you said you have a Cancer sun. Oh, okay. And you you said about timing, Teresa. You think you need your charts kind of work. So do you live one day again like that? Oh, with live readings and things? Perhaps. Perhaps I will. All right, so let's move on to Virgo. Virgo. So this lunar eclipse is going to look at this final powerful release in your ninth house. So thinking here, firstly, I would say thinking here about your deeply held beliefs, thinking here about the likes of religion, philosophy, your worldviews, okay, major shifts there. Also, thinking here about the ways in which you teach, publish, and share information with the world, the ways in which you broadcast. So, yeah, a powerful shift, a powerful release. Again, this will last for the next 6 months or so. So, it's a really good time to reflect, to really think about what you have learned. Jupiter will also be retrograde in Taurus here. So I think this perhaps is pointing toward greater faith, like having greater faith in the next step, even having faith in what it is that you share, right? What it is that you broadcast. I think it even looks at your unique sort of style, right? Your unique way of doing things. If we even throw into the mix Uranus, right? Uranus is still there. So yeah, I think this is an eclipse that will really point toward how much you have evolved and expanded when it comes to the message that you put out there. And the other thing I want to say with this is you've also been transforming when it comes to your everyday interactions and conversations. My goodness, Virgo, like This sounds so silly because it's almost like I'm talking to myself, but I really don't want to make it sound super egotistic. Okay, Hannah, Leo 12th house stuff. Anyway, I just want to say, Virgo, how proud I am of you. How proud I am because with this energy, what this energy suggests is that you have been overcoming so much when it comes to conversation and communication. I think that you've really pushed yourself further and you've shown yourself that, like, you know what you're talking about and you know what you want to say. The thing about you, of course, is that you can often second guess yourself. You can often feel nervous or anxious, but I think that this is actually an eclipse. Well, the set of eclipses have been highlighting just how much you have changed when it comes to your thoughts and how often it is the your inner you, right? It's your own thoughts that keep you back from, like, saying that thing or from sharing what you wanna share. So, yeah, all of this is to say I'm so proud of you, Virgo, for the changes that have occurred for you and how much you have soared, right? You're soaring like the phoenix, the transformations that you have gone through, even when it comes to education, right? Learning new things, like diving deeper into subject matters, wanting to get better at what you're learning about. So that's really admirable. Uh, then also, Taurus and Scorpio, the past 2 years or so, have brought the evolution of your mind, the evolution of any negative, darker thoughts, the evolution with respect to even driving and transportation. This is so funny because, okay, when I draw on this, I have a Virgo rising, so I'm just communicating a quick example. But it was about 2 years ago, well, pretty much it was 2 years ago that I passed my driving test. I am 31 years old, so I was 29 when I passed my driving test, and I'm such a nervous driver, I'm so nervous, and I think that the past 2 years have been teaching me, like, "Come on, you can do this. You can do this." So yeah, building upon that confidence and then transforming when it comes to driving. But anyway, that was just a little quick example that I wanted to draw from, and maybe you can relate if you have this Virgo energy. Perhaps this is even looking at small talk. Small talk, right? Maybe many Virgos out there, it's like, "Oh, I hate small talk. I don't like it." But maybe you've realized that small talk can actually be so amusing and actually really beneficial, yeah. But anyway, change is there for you, Virgo, perhaps. And then the growth as well, right? So the growth when it comes to even, like, um, your beliefs, right? So this could look like you believing in yourself. This could look like the beliefs that you have about the world. This can also look at how, stubborn you can be, fixed you can be when it comes to certain beliefs. So, yeah, perhaps there's been growth on your part there as well. And then with Venus being in your sign, Virgo, during this lunar eclipse, I just think that this is such a shift, like, especially for you, Virgo, because, right, if you think about it, right, the solar eclipse happened in Libra, Venus ruled, Venus in Virgo, and then the lunar eclipse happening in Taurus, sorry, and then Venus ruled being in Virgo. Just wow. I think that this eclipse season is quite personal for you in this way, Virgo, right? I think it's looking here at so much of your own healing, so much of your own growth, even looking at your aims, your goals, the things that you want to achieve in life. I think this has been a big part of it, and even looking at your self-worth and how things have been really improving for you there. So that is so good. And then Mars and Scorpio as well in the third house. I would just say with this that the moon is reflecting this part of you, Virgo, that can still obsess, still worry, still fixate on things, like reading too much into things. I think this then looks at these major energetic shifts for you, okay? Uh, Sergio, you say that you have a Libra rising and a Taurus sun with a Virgo moon. Yesterday's eclipse hit you hard. Oh, especially with a Libra. My gosh. Well, I hope that you're able to rest well today. Full 360 Virgo rising. Are you saying then that you have a Virgo rising? Is that what you're saying? And you're saying you're a great driver. You know what? I think I'm good at driving too. Well, I think I'm a safe driver. I'm not very good at reversing. I'm not. I'm just not. But I'm a safe driver. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, let's move on to Libra. Libra. So this lunar eclipse is going to happen in your 8th house. So this is a final powerful release then when it comes to, I would say, so thinking here about shared resources, shared money, especially thinking about things like, mortgages, debt, paying off debt, getting a mortgage. I've noticed this actually with certain Libras who have moved house over the past few years. Also, Libras who have gotten engaged. I even noticed this on my feed yesterday. People with Libra placements getting engaged. Um, what else could I say about this? I've I've also seen certain Libras who have been paying off like a good bit of debt as well. So yeah, I would say these powerful changes with respect to these types of matters. But then the other thing about this is like a powerful release when it comes to vulnerability and closeness, right? The amount of growth that has happened for Libras the past couple of years where um I think there's been more of a like a being able to feel somewhat more settled from within because you have been quite honest and real about your own struggles. There can be this thing with Libra energy where it's like, that's too ugly, that's negative, that's uncomfortable for me. I don't like that. But I think Uranus transiting your 8th house plus even Jupiter there and then the eclipses, I think this has opened you up so much and has shown you like the power of uncomfortable emotions and that it's okay, for example, to feel things like jealousy or anger, etc. These types of things. So changes there. And then the Jupiter retrograde, I think, also points toward like this honesty, right? This truth about anything that you're dealing with on an emotional level. But then also, I think looking at honesty and truth with respect to, again, like shared resources, other people's money. Okay, the other with Taurus there in the 8th house. And then this is also about transforming, which, by the way, I just want to say with this, just going back to the Taurus Jupiter part of it, this could even be where there's some type of investments that have occurred for you. You've invested, or there's certain saving accounts that you've opened, but it's with someone else. Looking here, getting into like a business partnership, a business deal, settling something as well, like settling on a certain legal matter, perhaps there too. So yeah, I just think that there's information coming up to do with these things as well. Right, so moving on. Also, this is about transforming when it comes to, well, the Scorpio stuff, right? So looking here looking here at these issues related to your self-worth, your physical body, I think a lot of Libras have been on a quest to understand themselves on like this more psychological level. And it's not just about diving into the psyche in this more logical way, right? As Libra tends to do, this being an air sign, but this is also about the nervous system. This is also about the body. This is also about regulating how like regulating your emotions, right? And that involves feeling somewhat more calm and seeing what grounding techniques you can do. And then I also think that a big part of this has been about um going back to emotional vulnerability, like being honest, like raw and real, and being able to even reach out to people because like you need that support. There's been a lot of lessons I think coming up for Libra to do with these matters, which have perhaps pushed you in very uncomfortable ways. But as I say with all of these signs, it's almost like you have soared, right? You've been soaring like that phoenix. So for you, Libra, yeah, give thanks, be proud of that internal work that you've been doing. And then even on a physical, practical level, I think a lot has changed for you financially, material wise, resource wise, seeing how much you can strive for the things that you want and desire and being successful actually, like, yeah, being successful on your mission. And though at the same time, I want to say this, looking here also at allowing things to be removed too, right? So where it's like perhaps a financial situation didn't work out, and it's like, right, okay, that's gone, that's in the past, let that go. The highs and lows, right? The highs and lows when it comes to the financial landscape. The other thing then here, Libra, is that over the past 2 years or so, it's that you've been evolving greatly when it comes to things like, okay, your money, your resources, your belongings, but then again, going back to your self worth. I think self worth is a big part of it. And then I also think as well, there's something here about respecting your body, nourishing it, giving it what it needs, being able to even slow down and to tune in. There's been a lot of evolution happening there, I think, and even evolution happening when it comes to your skills and your talents. Seeing what it is that you're gifted at, what you're good at, and a lot of Libras are very, very good at like reading between the lines, very, very good at investigating. There's even, I would say, like there's such an interest in the occult for Libras. And then also this growth, basically, the growth when it comes to, well, the anti stuff, right? The growth that has happened when it comes to the occult. Libras are very good at grounding occult like subjects in practical ways, in ways that make sense. Now, Venus will also be in Virgo during this lunar eclipse, so that will be in your 12th house. So, I would just say with this one that Libra, I think this is looking at what it is that you wish to gain out of the public, out of the public eye. I think this is an eclipse season where it's more about you going behind the scenes and seeing, what do you stand for? What is meaningful to you? What is valuable to you? What do you like? Asking yourself what you really like, and um even making little improvements to your sleep, making improvements to your bedtime habits related to your spirituality, right? Your spiritual practices there as well. And then with Mars being in Scorpio, I think that Mars and Scorpio energy is, well, it's pointing toward how Moon is reflecting any like super compulsive tendencies or controlling, possibly manipulative behaviors. It's like, okay, maybe you feel yourself becoming like frustrated at someone or perhaps even triggered in a way or like jealous in a way. But it's like, right, okay, how can you maybe just see that you've come a long way, or you see how that correlates with something in the past, or it's tied to something a lot deeper. It's like, okay, try and remain calm through it. And then it's also looking at how things will shift for you energetically there too. But I think a lot of this has to do with trust. Mm. We okay for internet connection? Okay. Let me know, by the way, if the internet slows or anything, please let me know. Okay, so Scorpio, moving on to you. Scorpio, my goodness, big deal. This is a big deal for you. This is like a final powerful release when it comes to the people that you want to connect to, the people you want to work with. This has been huge for you, Scorpio. Like really thinking about like, who do I want to work with? Who do I want by my side? Who do I want to marry? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Said the M word. Said it. Marriage. Who am I committed to? Who am I loyal to? Who is loyal toward me? These questions have been massive, massive for you over the past 2 years, Scorpio. You've even noticed certain Scorpios have gotten married. They have gotten married. They have thought about, right, okay, this is the person that I want to be with for the rest of my life. We're doing this, or Scorpios who have really thought about like the business side of things. It's like, I want the best in business. I want to work with the best in the business. They're my people. They're my people. I want to hire them. I want to support them. I value them. But then it's also equally looking at, do they value me? Or also, what's the exchange, right? Seventh house is very much about the exchange. What's on the table? What offer is being put on the table? But the thing is with Scorpio energy, I think there is a part of it where, you are attracted to the financial prospects, right? You're attracted to the money you can earn, and you can maybe even look at this as who's the highest bidder, so to speak, right? It's like, yeah, there's this job and they're offering me this amount of money, but then there's this other job, they're offering me this amount of money. But the thing is that Scorpio, you're much more strategic than that, right? You're so much more strategic than that. It, it's about there's an element of money involved, yes. But I think it's also looking at the other things. I think a lot of it has to do with like, okay, well, how does this really fit into my value system? How does this feel in my body? Like, what am I going to get from this? Am I just going to be wrecked all day? When am I going to rest? Scorpio, yeah, this is what I love about Scorpio. You think deeper, much deeper. You think about the things that like perhaps not many people think about, and it comes out as like really profound. I'm just reflecting on certain experiences right now in my head, but basically all of this is to say, Scorpio, that there are these like big shifts that have been happening for you. Um and then the other thing I just want to say with this is the seventh house looks at clients, right? So perhaps this is also a lunar eclipse where you are going through this release when it comes to clients, right? What types of clients do you want to work with? What types of clients do you want to attract? How can you support your clients? How can you comfort them? Then with Jupiter retrograde also there being in the seventh house, I think this is about you just assessing then the bigger picture. And I even think that there's travel involved with this, like possibly traveling for work reasons and possibly expanding yourself, right? Like, I think Jupiter here during the eclipse is sort of saying, don't just focus on what is right in front of you, like, go bigger, expand the view. What have you not seen? What have you not recognized yet? So I think this could very well look at your growth in this way, right? How you can improve and grow with respect to things like clients and relationships there. And this is also about transforming. My goodness, Scorpio, this is you. Like, you have this stellium in your sign. It's going to be your season. The sun is going to be there lighting you up. Like, this is your season. This is your time, Scorpio, to really soar, to soar like the phoenix when it comes to your aims, your goals. It's almost like you have the world in your hands right now, Scorpio. You have the choices, you have the options, like you have the power. And you may like me saying that, the power, right? And I'm saying that and again in a beneficial way, in a nice way, not in that kind of like power hungry, like cruel way, but yeah, there's that power, and I think this is about you recognizing that you have it and being very, very discerning about how you use it. Okay, so what does that look like? It's like, well, who are you giving your power away to? How can you sustain your energy in this way? Thinking here about where you direct your energy, your focus, right? Mars is there as well. It's like the focus is everything, the concentration is everything. Mastering your emotions here, being able to keep controlled, keep steady. So just take your time. Like I said, this eclipse is going to last the ending of this eclipse set, but for the next 6 months, like reflect, just take your time, right? Just take your time and really reflect on what the next step is for you there, Scorpio. And what I also want to say is over the past 2 years, Taurus and Scorpio have brought you, okay, so for one, that evolution when it comes to your appearance, your physical body, your attitude, right? Your attitude, the ways in which you cope with the new situations. There's been so many shifts happening. Your identity has changed, and you probably haven't even realized. Maybe people who don't really study astrology, it's like you haven't realized, but perhaps people who study astrology who know it quite well, you've realized. It's just funny because I know a few Scorpios in my life, and when I reflect on this, I think, my gosh, they've changed so much. Wow, like it's almost like they're a completely different person. But then that's the thing, Scorpios like this. Scorpios and Aquarians are like this. There's other signs that are like this, but I think the change is so much more like it's inspiring in a way, especially for Scorpio, but it's also like, what? Like jaw dropping, like what uh, who are you? It's this type of thing. It's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of evolution there for you, Scorpio. And then there's also the growth, right? The growth happening then with respect to your relationships too, and what it is that you value when it comes to relationships, and what it is that you're building, and your self-worth, right? How worthy do you feel within certain partnerships and relationships? Do you feel worthy? Do you feel like other people value you? Huge. Now, Venus will also be in Virgo in your 11th house. So, well, I think that this is looking here at how I think there's something here about, for one, your hopes and wishes coming up during this lunar eclipse. Like there's this focus on your hopes and wishes, the improvements that you wish to make or that you want to make. I think there's something here coming up to do with communities and groups that you're a part of and who you relate to the most, who you connect with the most. These types of things are coming up for you. And you may find as well that um, you gain some type of like either feedback or perhaps resources from friends or from um, certain groups that you're a part of there. That's a possibility. Then the last thing I want to say, of course, is Mars is in your sign in the first house. So I think in this way, the moon is going to reflect anything that is like too forceful, like too demanding. The thing about you, Scorpio, especially with all of this energy building up in your sign, it can perhaps lean toward like being so like demanding, right? There can be that like intensity with Scorpio energy where it's almost like you can dominate or like sort of dominate the discussion, dominate the situation to take control within the situation. And I know that that's like your go-to. It's like, I've got this, I've got control of this, like I know exactly what to do, like this is the strategy, and it usually is very good, and you perform miracles, I know. But I still think that this moon energy is going to reflect anything that's too like too like too forceful or domineering. Okay. And maybe even bringing awareness to that and thinking, hold on a second, like, do I really need to take control within this situation? Is it really my job? Do I really have to do this? Is it my responsibility? But then also giving other people space in this way, thinking about other people too with the seventh house. Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. So this is going to be a final powerful release in your sixth house. Sagittarius. Let's talk. I feel like the more I go down this, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much to say. Okay. Sagittarius, there have been huge shifts and changes happening with respect to your work, your schedules, your routines. And by changes and shifts, I mean it's almost been like one thing after the other, just no feet on the ground, lack of stability actually, having to readjust in more ways than one. And perhaps that sense of change has been quite spontaneous for you, right? You think about Uranus there, for example, in the sixth house, and you think about how you're a Sagittarius. So there's that whole thing of like, oh, you know what? Yeah, like I can keep up with this. It's new, it's fresh, it's exciting. Okay. But still, I think that this powerful release in Taurus is it's actually going to look at where you feel the most secure, where you feel the most stable, where you feel the most settled and safe. Okay. And this is going to be something that you will reflect upon for the next 6 months or so. And then, of course, the other thing about this is Jupiter will be retrograde and it will be in your sixth house. So I think this is about you gaining a deeper understanding um about the type of role that you have when it comes to work, but then also thinking about your health, thinking about your well-being, getting a deeper understanding about your well-being, and even like seeing where you may become so caught up in it all, right? Biting off more than you can chew, spreading things too wide, right? Spreading yourself too wide with Jupiter there, right? Jupiter is the chart ruler for you, right? Jupiter is that chart ruler. So to have Jupiter then in the sixth house for you over the past year, for the next year, it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm having to do this. It's just there's a lot of activity. Okay. So I think that this eclipse in Taurus is it's going to look at this energetic shift then, where there's the energetic shift of, right, does this actually make you happy? Is this bringing you joy, right? Joy, Sagittarius energy. Is this bringing you joy? Does it align with your purpose? Does it align with your meaning? Is it something that truly brings you contentment and fulfillment, emotional fulfillment, especially with the moon being in Taurus? Now, you have also been transforming then when it comes to the 12th house. Sagittarians have been going through such huge psychological, spiritual, and emotional changes over the past few years. And like, I think that a big part of this is seeing where you may unconsciously try to like control or push to have your way to address these things, to maybe like see like what is it about me that does that, like where's that coming from, having that sort of inner analysis. And then I also think that there's something here about how it is that you have transformed on a spiritual level and what types of subjects you have been learning about and what you've been experiencing as well on a more internal spiritual level there too, all happening behind the scenes. But these emotional shifts have really led to like this these phoenix moments where you have been soaring like the phoenix, you have been overcoming, and you have been even seeing that there are certain parts of the psyche that can trip you up or that can keep you from achieving the things that you want to achieve. So there's been a lot of growth on your part there. And with that being said, Taurus and Scorpio have brought these changes, right? So the evolution here to do with your spiritual practices over the past 2 years, evolving as well when it comes to Well, sleep, perhaps, right? Getting better sleep, seeing that rest can be really helpful for you, even evolving when it comes to your dreams, paying attention to your dreams, visualizing, meditating, having a clear mind, like clearing your mind more, seeing that there are there are ways that you can sort of support yourself through anything overly anxious or anything overly concerning and emotionally challenging. How do you sort of assist yourself and support yourself through it? Yeah, I would say in this way, so much of that emotional healing has been happening behind the scenes. It's like you've been doing it out of sight. People haven't seen just how much you've grown. So, yeah, there's that. But then also with further growth, looking here at how the past 2 years have brought so much growth when it comes to your work, like your services, how much you have, you've earned your place basically. You've earned your place within this service, or you've been able to show others quite matter of factly that these are my credentials and this is what I'm good at, and this is what I know. You've really improved. And then I also think that there has been growth when it comes to how it is that you manage your day, right? And how it is that you can keep calm through it all with all of the strong amounts of tasks and responsibilities and obligations going on, where it's just like, oh my gosh, there's so much of it. You somehow manage to keep yourself quite like calm. And well, you try to. I think the moon and Taurus energy and the eclipses in Taurus have been saying, like, you've been able to keep yourself quite calm through it all. And even seeing that you can comfort yourself through it. Maybe even that Scorpio energy in the 12th looks at that emotional vulnerability. Maybe it even points toward how you don't have to do all of this on your own. And maybe that's a big deal for you, Sagittarius. You don't have to do it all on your own. And maybe you think you do, Sagittarius. But I still think that this is about you seeing that, you can have other people by your side to support you through whatever you're going through. Especially when it comes to health related matters, when it comes to those emotionally complex things as well. Okay, so Venus will also be in Virgo during this lunar eclipse for you, Sagittarius. So that'll be in your 10th house. So I think this lunar eclipse is also going to look at then um how it is that you like show up amongst the public. I think perhaps this is even pointing toward coworker relationships quite a lot, right? With Taurus being in the 6th and then Venus being in the 10th. It's like, what about your coworker relationships in terms of value? Maybe you're considering, different types of coworkers to perhaps work with, or you're considering your services, what type of service you want to provide. Maybe you wish to do something different. Maybe you wish to sort of showcase your work in a different way. But yeah, there's just something here about the professional landscape that's coming up here too. And then with Mars in Scorpio as well, the moon is then going to reflect anything that you're still battling with emotionally. I think that it's going to look at these huge energetic shifts and thinking here about how our emotions are very much intertwined with our mind, with our body, with our health. So, yeah, to me, it just seems like a big thing that's been happening for you, Sagittarius, is actually like to do with health. Health has been a big focus for you. Emotional health, physical health, spiritual health. And then it's looking at that growth and looking at how you can, maybe even with Venus and Virgo, like put practical measures in place. Practical advice. Perhaps you even seek practical advice from others. Okay, Capricorn. So Capricorn, this is the final powerful release then happening here in your 5th house. Okay, you've got Taurus in the 5th house. Capricorn, So much has changed for you the past 2 years when it comes to children, right? Some of you perhaps have had a child, right? Similar to Cancer. We were talking about this with Cancer. But yeah, Capricorn, perhaps some of you have had a child. Perhaps some of you have even taken on a new hobby, a new creative pursuit, and that is kind of like your child, even. but seriously, yeah, I think there's something here about uh, the lunar eclipse bringing up a powerful release when it comes to your creativity, even how you express yourself. We've noticed here how many Capricorns have changed the ways in which they express themselves the past 2 years. Looking here at your artistic qualities, right? Looking here at music, thinking about maybe even literally painting, or looking here at how you decorate. Looking here also at gardening or cooking and just those changes that have happened. And so I think this is going to be that powerful release, that powerful shift for you. And again, looking here over the next 6 months, there's something here about the next 6 months where there's a lot of reflection. I mean, this could even be a situation where you or your partner fall pregnant over the next 6 months. Okay, so that could be something. But again, there seems to be like so much change when it comes to children and creativity, even looking at romance and love, possibly looking at commitment, looking at getting into a new relationship, right? Maybe there are Capricorns who have entered new relationships. And then also with Jupiter, which will conjunct the moon during this eclipse, I think this is looking at greater faith within relationships. Maybe even looking here at your morality, your morals strongly when it comes to relationships and love, and how aligned are you with these morals? Even thinking about children again, how it is that you wish to parent. Maybe that's a big question. It's like all these questions to do with parenting. Like, what type of parent do I want to be? These big questions that come up. And and then perhaps as well, looking here at how you can truly understand like the thought process that goes into your creative pursuits, or understanding the pattern, understanding the way you approach things, even looking at your earnings and how they may be tied to your creative pursuits as well. Okay, making money from your creativity, from your hobbies. And then at the same time, you have been transforming when it comes to the 11th house. So a lot of Capricorns, I think, have ended friendships, started new friendships. I think a lot of Capricorns have connected with in different communities and networks over the past 2 years, finding your tribe, so to speak. But that tribe, if you will, is is very much connected to the occult, or it's connected to something like quite investigative. People who want to like look deeper into things, basically. Even thinking about astrology here or psychology. But yeah, and then also I think as well, looking at your hopes and wishes for the future, Capricorn. Maybe there are Capricorns out there, you really want to get better at like occult-like practices and studies, you really want to improve. Also looking here at like reading between the lines a great deal when it comes to other people. And so maybe such changes have resulted in like endings, right? I don't relate to this person, or I don't relate to these people. I don't see myself around these people, that I don't connect, right? So yeah. But at the same time, soaring, right? Soaring like that phoenix. Soaring like the phoenix. We've been saying that with all the signs. Still, these past 2 years have brought such like evolution, like an evolutionary process has been happening here when it comes to where you see yourself, amongst groups, and even the role that you play within your teams, right? I think Capricorns, I think there's a part of it where you like to be, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, by the way, I just want to say that, but you like to be in control of it. You like to be in control of things. Okay, I think a lot of Capricorns are fine with going, hey, you know what? I'll take control of the meeting. I've got that. You know, um, or if there is a certain, like, a speaking event is happening, maybe the Capricorn is quick enough to go, "Yep, I will speak at that," or to assign someone who they think will be good at that. I think Capricorns are great at noticing the skills and gifts that other people have. Perhaps you could say that that's a Libra in the 10th house thing. Perhaps you could say that's a Taurus in the 5th house thing, or a Leo in the 8th house thing. But yeah, Capricorn, you're very good at recognizing other people's gifts and talents, right? Maybe that's an Aquarius in the 2nd house thing. But anyway, I digress. I'm just kind of going off a little bit, going on a bit of a tangent. But truly, I think in this way you see quite well people's strengths and people's weaknesses. And you can use such things to your benefit. So, going back to the Scorpio energy, I think this is where we're also noticing this evolutionary process that's been happening. Where you can see, like, this is how we as a team, as a group, can grow and change, because I can see that from X, Y, and Z, these are the strengths and the weaknesses that we have, or that you have, or that person has, etc., etc. Then the other thing is growth when it comes to your hobbies, your creativity. You've been getting better. You've been getting better. You've been improving. And I think even a lot of it has to do with perhaps like mentors, um, people who you trust, people who are committed and determined. Perhaps Taurus people have been a part of it, with Taurus in the 5th house. Taurus people have been, in a way, like, assisting you, supporting you when it comes to your creativity there. So that's just an idea. And then Venus will also be there in the 9th house in Virgo for you. So during this lunar eclipse, I think here, Capricorn, this is pointing toward improvements then when it comes to your delivery, your teachings, how you broadcast, how you share. So yeah, improvements happening. Just small little tweaks and changes that can be made, but can actually go a long way. And then seeing even the long term effect that comes from that, because Capricorn, you're all about longevity and the long haul. So that's really good. And then Mars and Scorpio as well will be in the 11th house. So I think here, this moon is reflecting, I think it's going to reflect anything, perhaps too domineering within groups. Maybe being able to realize, oh, I'm taking too much control within this group situation. Maybe I need to reel it back a little bit, you know? Or maybe I can bring some type of attention to anything that's like too fixated. I think that's the thing with you, Capricorn. You can also be narrow-minded. Perhaps a bit of that is to do with the fixating on certain, like, areas within groups and teams. So to try to, like, still keep yourself open enough. Maybe Jupiter is also pointing toward that opposite. Keep yourself open to the bigger picture still. Still energetic shifts coming up. Okay, so I'm just going to take a drink of water. We're on the last two signs. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Okay, so I skipped over Aquarius there. Right. Okay. Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. Right. This is interesting. So Aquarius, there have been, well, okay, let me go back to the start. Aquarius, this lunar eclipse is going to happen in your 4th house. So there is going to be this final powerful release when it comes to your emotional security, your emotional needs, being able to communicate your emotional needs, being able to say what it is that you need, to be comforted, what it is that you need in order to feel comfortable, and also value and worth. And that requires vulnerability, I think, Aquarius. And I think the past 2 years have pointed toward your vulnerability. Oh, it's interesting. Aquarians are are often seen unemotional Aquarius. But of course, when it comes to Aquarius, it's that Aquarians need to feel safe. They need to feel safe. They need to feel comfortable. Aquarians are going to observe you. They're going to observe. They want to know what you're about. What you are about. They want to know if they can trust you. This Aquarius. But at the same time, Aquarians can also be social, friendly, pretty chill, right? People say, "Oh, Aquarians are so chill. Like you're so chill." I get that. I get that sometimes. You know, I've got an Aquarius sun. People say, "Oh, you're so chill. Like you're so calm." Oh my gosh, like, yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm not really though. Ah, perhaps that's a kind of Virgo in the eighth house. My goodness, Aquarians are such perfectionists. I think I said this in the last live stream, but yeah, Aquarians are such perfectionists. Um, and then also, Aquarians don't give too much away too soon. But I think perhaps the Taurus in the fourth house energy is pointing toward the part of Aquarius that can be so calm and chill, right? And relaxed. It's like, I'm laid back, pretty easy going, you know? So, all of this is to say, Aquarius, that I think this is going to look at a powerful release then when it comes to this inner part of you. And then I also think that this is looking at a powerful shift, a powerful release when it comes to family relationships, family members here, where you wish to live, where you wish to settle down. I think where you wish to settle down has been on your mind a lot the past 2 years, Aquarius. And perhaps it's still something that's ongoing, still a lot of reflection happening there for you. But the thing about this too is Aquarians, you take your time. Aquarian is actually quite slow, really, in its decision making process. Like when Aquarius does make up their mind, it's made up, right, and it's fixed and it's strong. But there's also like there's a slowness. I think there is a certain slowness, like sort of methodical, like taking your time attitude toward Aquarius, where it just needs to feel like it needs to feel right. So when it comes to like where you want to live, where you want to settle down, it needs to feel right. And so perhaps this is an eclipse where the home related things are still ongoing. And maybe some of you actually have relocated the past couple of years. You have. I know I have. I've relocated. And then also, perhaps some of you have reconnected with family members, or perhaps some of you have actually became closer to certain family members. Oh my gosh, you know what just came to me? What came to me is, so it was 2 years ago that my father passed away, you know? And there's that Scorpio energy in the 10th. So, in this way, perhaps Aquarius, some of you have lost your loved ones. There's been certain family members who have sadly passed. But then perhaps for others of you, there are certain family members where there's like, there's been a shift, a change. You've reconnected. You feel closer. Maybe you're even being able to recognize, what can you do little by little just to feel like you belong with a family member, or like you can get along just in some way. Doesn't have to be drastic, just in some way. Okay. And at the same time, with Jupiter retrograde, I think there's a freeing energy with this, of course, being in the fourth house, right? So to free yourself from like um a family situation that just it's been going on for far too long. I think this is pointing toward seeking greater contentment within the home, even greater contentment within yourself. and perhaps even gaining a deeper understanding about the types of relationships you wish to have with family. And again, a deeper understanding about where you belong, where you live, who you live with. But has also been about transforming when it comes to, oh my gosh, Aquarius, when it comes to your professional life, when it comes to your career, when it comes to your achievements, your accomplishments. Aquarius has indeed soared like the phoenix with respect to their profession over the past 2 years. They have really proved themselves to be so much stronger than they ever thought they were, and that they can be respected for their investigations, for their research, for their ability to dig deep. Thinking about, again, those occult subjects. A lot of Aquarians are super into spiritual subjects, occult like subjects. Thinking here about astrology again, Aquarius is the sign tied to astrology apparently. So, yeah, I think transforming then, soaring then, like the phoenix, when it comes to these matters, even soaring when it comes to your public image, your reputation, what it is that you're known for, being somewhat fearless, being bold, being courageous. And then as well, Taurus and Scorpio have brought, okay, for one, the evolution related to your reputation, the evolution here related to your profession. Okay, great. And then also the growth that has happened internally. But you know what? Perhaps that growth is in a way what has assisted you. So the internal growth has assisted you and pushed you when it comes to the external growth, if you will. Now, Venus will also be in Virgo in the 8th house for you, Aquarius, during this lunar eclipse. So I think that this is looking at those little tweaks and changes, improvements that you can make to, okay, going back to the occult like subjects, seeing as it's the 8th house. But then also, I think when it comes to intimacy, I think this is actually quite a big deal for you, Aquarius, this eclipse season when it comes to intimacy. Intimacy, I think, in terms of, okay, how would you like to be closer with someone? Like, what practical steps can you do? What little things can you do in order to feel closer to your partner or to feel closer to your friends, to be intimate with people? But I think a lot of it comes back to trust. Trust. Yeah. It's interesting. This is really interesting to me. We think about that slowness to Aquarius. Very interesting. Okay, so Mars will also be in Scorpio, of course, in the 10th house for you during this lunar eclipse. So I think that this is looking at how the moon will reflect the part of you, Aquarius. So it will reflect the part of you that perhaps can become too concerned about recognition and status and being seen as in a particular way. I think Aquarius, you can sometimes be too consumed by how you come across, by how you appear. Sometimes it's you don't want to come across as too too up in other people's business. I think this is so interesting to me. I think when it comes to Aquarius energy, if you're an Aquarius, right, you have Aquarius energy, please let me know if you relate to this or if I'm just being way off, right? But I'm just going to go with it, right? But I think when it comes to Aquarius energy, there's this internal battle, right? So there's this part of Aquarius that could just go in, right? There's this intensity with Aquarius often, go in and ask people these deeper questions, oh my gosh, where were you no, maybe let me think something different than that. No, see, I was gonna go for that, but I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna stop my Virgo energy criticizing me. Anyway, right. There's this part of Aquarius that could really wants to go in and kind of ask those perhaps more taboo subjects, right? That's probably the better word to say. Taboo subjects, right? What happened to you whenever you were 5, or um what do you think about this political situation, or how much money did you earn for da 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 da, yeah. So there's that part of you that wants to go in, right? But then there's this other part of you that's No, no, no. Shouldn't ask that. Really shouldn't ask that. Like, it's just gonna be weird. It's just gonna make it weird. It's just gonna make it awkward. And then I think there is then this internal process where you're just so caught up in, "Oh, do I say this? Do I not say this? Oh my gosh, what if I come across like this? And what do you think of this? And oh my gosh," and you just go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then maybe you just don't say anything. And it just seems like maybe you don't care or you don't want to like talk to someone, but I think it's because there's so much going on internally where you're battling with, should I ask this question? Oh, maybe I shouldn't. Like, should I say this? But maybe if they think I'm getting too close to them or I don't know them like that, so maybe it's not the best time. You know, I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so ah, yeah, let me know. Eddie, you said yes. True. Okay, true. You've got the right. Yeah, you have that Aquarius rising, Eddie. A_1Y. You said your ex was an Aquarius Venus, 100% have that internal battle with Phoenician things. Oh my gosh, right. Okay. Okay. It's almost like with Aquarius energy, you need to be ready. You need to be ready for the perhaps in a not inappropriate, how do I say, ready for the questions that you've probably never really had directed at you before. Anyway. Brianna, you said we need to silence our inner critic. She's so loud sometimes. Oh my gosh, yes. My inner critic, like, it's so true. The inner critic can just keep you from saying the thing that you really want to say. And I suppose the thing with Aquarius energy is there is that Virgo energy in the eighth house, which Aquarians are super critical. Like I mean obsessively critical. It's wild. It is wild. All right. I just want to say thank you so much for your feedback on that, for letting me know information there about that. Interesting. But let's get on to the final sign before we finish up. Pisces. Okay, Pisces. So this is looking here at this final powerful release then when it comes, well, to the ways in which you learn, communicate, travel from A to B. Looking here at the ways in which you commute. So Pisces, I think you've been working a lot on your voice, like really using your voice and being somewhat like more sure of what it is that you wish to communicate. And even I would say going down like a musical path, a creative path, an artistic path, and then considering how these things bring you a sense of security and ease and comfort. This does make sense to me, with that Pisces energy in the first and then Taurus in the third, and how Pisces, you are often like seen as being like really creative and artistic, beautiful, poetic people. And the way you just conduct yourselves, the way you come across, like there's like a softness, a gentleness, there's like a nice feel to you, and you come across as like accommodating, as inviting, as welcoming, right? But I think with the Taurus eclipse, it's looking at your education. It's looking at what you wish to learn about more. And Pisces actually can be brilliant at communicating um things in, so whatever they're learning, in these practical everyday ways. with Taurus there in the third. And then with Jupiter retrograde as well, making that conjunction to the moon, I think there's something here about, you know, um, optimism and like keeping yourself quite positive throughout the process, and thinking here about the value that you bring, like the value and the beauty that you bring through your voice, through what you're communicating about, writing as well, poetry, journaling. I mean, Pisces make amazing writers, um, amazing like filmmakers, content creators. And the thing is like it's so effortless, you know? It just comes across as so effortless, and it moves, you move people. You move people with your voice, you move people with your sound. You move people with what you say, with what you write, with what you create, and that's just amazing. So yeah, I think a lot has been happening there in this way for you, Pisces, but you've also been transforming then when it comes to like the bigger questions. I think a lot of Pisces, especially over the past 2 years, have been really questioning the meaning of life, the meaning of existence. You're often like this anyway, Pisces. It's like you can have these existential crises whenever you're alone. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I? Like, where am I from? And why am I here? And I had this dream, and it was like really weird and trippy. And what does it mean? And it's all about spiritual stuff. And you know, like you can really get into that, Pisces. But that Scorpio energy, I think it intensifies everything. And I think especially during the eclipse in the past couple of years, even with the eclipses, things have been quite intense for you. Perhaps like you've been enlightened in huge ways, eye-opening experiences, perhaps some not so enjoyable or comfortable, of course, with Scorpio energy, perhaps some quite traumatic and really like scary, almost like maybe even like scary travel experiences or scary experiences related to teaching or publishing or broadcasting. But yeah, whatever it may be though, there's been these transformations for you, and you have, of course, transformed in powerful ways as well. And perhaps also this is looking at soaring like the phoenix then when it comes to your beliefs, right? When it comes to even how passionate you are about your beliefs and the things that you really want to get across. Like the thing about Pisces I find really interesting is, it can often be seen as like, Pisces are so sweet and really loving and really kind. And yes, you are, but oh my gosh, whenever you believe in something, whenever you stand for something, Pisces, like, ha, ah, you're gonna it's like, no, I'm not I'm not backing down from this, okay? And it comes from this really emotionally charged place, and it comes from like passion, and this is what I stand for, and this is why. And you're going to be able to really explain like clearly, this is why I believe this. This is why I know this to be true in my bones. Like, yeah, you can be such passionate people and you spread a message that is passionate. So, yes, I think that this lunar eclipse is going to highlight these things for you. Even over the past 2 years, Pisces, you have really evolved when it comes to the likes of publishing, broadcasting, when it comes to what it is that you're teaching, what it is that you wish to share. There's been a lot of change happening for you there, many transformations happening for you there, and stepping into like greater positions of like power where you feel like, yes, I'm strong within these areas. And then also with the Taurus energy, it's like, right, how much you have grown then when it comes to using your voice, when it comes to the whole education stuff that I was talking about a moment ago, even growth when it comes to like learning how to drive, right? Maybe that's so simple to say, but learning how to drive, or um this could even be like, you know how to drive, but then learning how to drive in a different vehicle. Or even this could be where you've really grown when it comes to like your local neighborhood, your local area, feeling safe and comfortable where you are and feeling more settled, more grounded there. Even feeling more grounded and safe when it comes to neighbors, when it comes to siblings and cousins, etc. So much growth there for you, Pisces. Now, Venus will also be in Virgo in the 7th house for you. So I think that perhaps this is looking at how around this lunar eclipse, well, perhaps you'll spend more time with your partner, you'll spend more time with your siblings. Maybe you'll prefer to like have some one-on-one time with a friend, or maybe you wish to improve upon the relationship that you have with a friend or with a partner there. And yeah, maybe there's just more of that like connection or desire to want to relate in little ways. So there's those little practical changes that can be made there. And then also with Mars in Scorpio, which is going to be in your 9th house, well, the moon may reflect, um, it may reflect any times when, kind of going back to what I was mentioning there, about how you can be quite forceful about your beliefs and like really push them whenever you feel like really passionate about something. So maybe this is about, okay, some shifts there, like uh, bring some type of awareness to that, awareness in terms of when are you maybe judging too much or too harshly, or when are you trying to insist on a certain way of doing something because of your own beliefs, and then you don't really recognize like, oh my gosh, um is this really worth it, is this really a big deal? But still, energetic shifts. Basically, Pisces. Okay, so that's all the horoscopes. We're done. We're done. We're done. So this is a Q&A section. If you do have a question about your chart, let me know. No pressure though. And it is $10 per question, just to clarify. Alexander, I want to answer your question. Aquarians are critical. Yes. Yes. Of course, I'm not going to speak on all Aquarians' behalf, but my view on this is yes, I think Aquarius is perhaps one of the most critical signs and one of the most perfectionistic signs. That is my view on that. Yeah. Um, Martin, you said you're a Pisces and you've got your North Node as well. Nice way to spend a rather cool Sunday evening. Yay! Thank you so much. Woohoo! Thank you all so much for being here. I really have appreciated your time today, and I really hope that you find this video to be helpful today as well. And just to let you know, again, just a reminder, I do have a Patreon. If you wish to sign up to the Patreon, then you can do so. The links will be in the description box. You can get access to daily forecast there, behind the scenes information, PDF guides, all that good stuff. And I do just want to take a moment to say thank you so much to my patrons over at Patreon. I really appreciate your support, and thank you for listening. If you do want to book a reading with me, you can go to hannahselsewhere.com. Plus, if you enjoyed this presentation today, you can always buy me a coffee, please and thank you, but no pressure. Thank you so much, really, thank you. I'm absolutely buzzing right now because I'm like, yay, got all the horoscopes done, yay. I love doing these so much. I just love these live streams and I appreciate you all so much. Eddie, you said more than Virgos. Okay, more than Virgos, more. Huh. I don't know. See, the thing about more than Virgos, I'm like, I don't think there's any way for me to assess that in order to give it a definite answer to that. But if I think about it, Virgo, first house, Aquarius, sixth house. Maybe I would be biased though, because I have an Aquarius sun and then I have a Virgo rising. So maybe my answer to that would be bias without me realizing. Yeah, but if I was to think about it though, right? If with the Aquarius energy and the sixth, thing about Virgos is they can be perfectionists, but they can also like out of nowhere just just sort of do something that is totally random and outside of like it's out of the blue basically. And also the whole thing with Virgo is things can be chaotic, but there's still a system to the chaos. There's some type of way that they know, right, this is where such and such is. But even if it looks like a mess in that way. But I think there's something about Aquarius that seems to be, I don't know, there is that all over the place energy with Aquarius, but there's also this like order, this order to Aquarius too. It's an interesting thing question to think about, and maybe I'll think about it more tonight. I'll probably be like lying in bed thinking, that was a really good question. I wonder. Maybe it's not even a matter of like more or less. Maybe it's just a matter of Virgos. Yes, Virgos can be perfectionists, but then so can Aquarians. And the reason for why I'm saying Aquarians can be perfectionists, is because they can have this side to them. If you think about it too, Saturn ruled as well. So like they can be quite uniform in a way. And then also with Virgo in the eighth, there can be that like obsessiveness, like really like reading into things, obsessing about things. And then there's the perfectionism that shows up that way. Again, maybe I'll think about it more. And thank you so much, is it Calise? Is it Calise or Calice? Calise, perhaps. But yeah, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here. Also, hey, Hayas, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it, and I hope you find it to be helpful. This live stream. Alexander, you said they're free spirits. Yeah. Yeah. We yes, Aquarians. We I keep saying we. Trying to like be more objective about it, but yeah, Aquarius known as being free spirits, but is being a free spirit, does that being a free spirit mean you can't be a perfectionist? Is my question to that. Wanting to be free and letting others be free. But can the two not exist at the same time? Anyway. And Eddie, you said you have a Virgo sun and Aquarius rising. Yeah, okay. That's interesting. So Eddie, we're double perfectionists. Yeah. Hey, yes, you said the perfectionism help. Hold on a second. Are you Virgo? Have you got Virgo energy or Aquarius energy? Let's see, The thing is like I don't have all the answers. I don't, and it really depends on people, right? People. When it comes to astrology, we can read all we want from the books and everything, and which I love. I love so many amazing astrology authors, but it does come down to our experiences too, doesn't it? Perfectionist. You are very unfree. Okay, okay. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. You can't be free if you're under perfectionist thumb. I don't know. I need to think about that. I do. I need to think about that. Thank you so much, A_1Y. Oh, so you have Aquarius Virgo energy. Okay. Right. Hmm. It's interesting. It is interesting. You know what? You've given me food for thought today. You have. This is something I may look into more. Anyway, right. I better go because yeah, we've been doing this for 3 hours now. And thank you again. Thank you also so much for being here. I appreciate your time, and as always, it has been great. Oh, hey, as he says, pervasive in your thoughts and actions. Hmm. Yeah. See, okay. You're making me think about this more. That's the thing, yeah, like Aquarians, free spirits, but I think what's often not talked about is Aquarius can also not be like that, you know? Aquarius can also follow rules. The thing about Aquarius is that it needs to know why the rules are there in the first place. Aquarius is free spirited, but Aquarius can also be extremely disciplined. You think about how Saturn and Uranus rule Aquarius. You said it's obsessive with your own standard. Mm, wow. Oh, you said look at the USA presidents that are Aquarius. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. If you want to give more information about that, do feel free. Time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because yeah, I think that is interesting about Aquarius. I keep saying we, and I am sorry about that. But Aquarius can often be seen as free spirited. I don't give an F. I do what I want. I'm rebellious. But I would argue that Aquarius can also be highly disciplined and will also value authority, can value authority. It changes anything they need to change. Okay. Well, this is definitely a conversation. Which there's a part of me where I'm like, I really want to have this conversation. Um, mm, mm, yeah. Yeah, I think with Aquarius there is still the part of Aquarius that can follow authority and can follow the rules. It's just that Aquarius needs to know why. Why is this the case? Aquarius will always question. But anyway, that is me. I could be here all night. Yeah. Yeah. Tense, never liberated. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Hmm. Contradictory. Yeah, contradictory. Mm. Paradox. Oh my gosh. Alexander, you said perfectionism is tensed up energy from your experience. Mm. Yeah. Yeah, I do think that perfectionism, there is something it's more so tied to the past. It's tied to your upbringing. Yeah. Hey, yes, you said absolutely, Eddie. Yeah, you said yeah, exactly. You said we want to be free, but we also want to follow the rules. Yeah. It's like what I was saying there. I can be a perfectionist, but I can also be free spirited. That's what I think anyway. Just from my experience, right? Okay, just go from my experience with Aquarius energy. I I like to be free spirited, but I'm also a perfectionist in my work and what I do. But I still like to have freedom to be a perfectionist. I'm sorry. Anyway, we could go on and on and on and talk about this. And I love it. I love this. This is so good because we're talking and we're learning and we're having a discussion and it's so good. Brianna, you said we think we all are contradictory. You're a walking paradox when you have Aquarius in the second. Just series. Yeah. Okay, I'm really gonna have to go. Francisco, our signs get paradoxical with lies and social. Oh gosh, no! Oh no! Really? Okay, I'm getting a little bit crazy. Oh, Brianna, thank you so much. Uh, really, you think that? Oh, I did not see that within myself at all. But that's really lovely of you to say. Okay. I'm gonna go for sure. I'm gonna go. And maybe we can continue this discussion another time. Maybe we can like think about this, right? And then we can come back and talk more about it. But I've really enjoyed this discussion today. And thank you so much. I mean, it's been awesome. Good night. Yes, good night, Brianna. Yeah, don't think in bed. I know, I know. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so, so much. And happy lunar eclipse in Taurus. I hope it serves you well. Happy eclipse season. Thinking of you all. And yeah, hope you have a great week ahead. Have a great week ahead. I will talk to you all very, very soon. Bye. Bye.